Welcome to this week's Nitty Gritty. Excited to have Trisha Zemp with us. A dual threat. We have a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yep.
Including TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I have no actual skill at TikTok. Everything we have to talk about TikTok did not come from myself.
So Trisha was introduced to us from our good friend Jared Goldyeller.
We love Jared.
And
Who doesn't love Jared?
Jared's the best.
he's talked about you because he's talked about the course, which we'll get into, that you guys have done, but he's always talked about you as someone who does stop motion, right?
I do a lot of stop motion.
And then last week he was like, and by the way, she also has this other business that does something with a planner or something. And then I started looking into oh no, that's a really big business.
Yeah.
So Golden Coil.
Yes.
So stop motion or Golden Coil, which one would you say is your main job, or do you consider that?
They both take up a huge portion of my life. I honestly don't think that there's priority on one or the other. Luckily, on both, I have help. So with Golden Coil, we have a team of employees, my sister, myself. We have a blog manager, a social media manager, a customer service person, a graphic designer. And then we also have a graphic design team, marketing team,
all with Golden Coil.
Yeah, and then we have but those are people we so our graphic design team, marketing team, those are just other kind of sources that we're just one of their accounts.
Yep.
And then we do the media spend, and then we have a dev team, then we have our print operations out of Oregon, and they do all the printing, shipping, handling of those kind of resources. So there's a ton of help on that side. And so I have to be very involved at specific points in the business. And other times it's just it needs a couple hours of my day to just be on top of emails, converse with the printer, converse with the dev team, make sure that we're all good, make sure our employees are doing good. But for the most part, my sister's really good at keeping our employees just on task and, all that kind of stuff. But then over on the other side with stop motion, it's, I have an assistant that comes in, and I retired my husband, and he works with the stop motion business. Yeah.
I retired him.
I love it.
He loves
He did a lot.
he loves to say that he's retired. He has his PhD in biochemistry, and so he did his PhD, and then he did all of his postdoctoral research, and then it got to this point where it's well, I could go work at an industry in some capacity or in academia if I wanted to, but why not just build a lifestyle where we can do whatever we want, whenever we want, to kind of just
okay, that's wild.
do whatever.
So he's a PhD, stopped everything. Now he does stop motion with you.
Yep.
Which is really fun. And it's funny because the other night we were doing we were making 1 million pom-poms for this job we're doing for Sesame Street right now. And he's in the studio watching Lord of the Rings with my little sister. And they're making hundreds of pom-poms. And I was when you were doing your PhD in biochemistry, did you ever think that one day you'd be sitting in the basement making hundreds of pom-poms? And he was you know what? I wouldn't change it for a thing. So he's having a fun time.
That's awesome. So maybe we'll just start with whichever one started first for you.
Oh,
so
stop motion.
Stop motion started first for you.
Golden Coil is 3 years old. Stop motion I've been doing for a long time.
Okay, so how did you get into it?
Okay, so I went to school at BYU, and I, after a lot of trial and error, finally chose photography as a major. I was a costume design major, and then theatrical makeup design, and I just couldn't. I just was trying to find something creative that fit, but nothing fit. And then my roommate was "Oh, I'm applying for the photography major," and I was that's a thing. And I'm that's what I needed this whole time. So
As the costume major?
Yeah.
And the female Mormon, I'm assuming, maybe.
Yeah.
Aren't they all photographers now?
This is true. But hey, I mean,
But none of them
way
did
to
it
be
in
good
college.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? If you do it in college, you're serious.
I don't know. I mean, there are some people who just picked it up and they do just a killer job and don't even need
That's true.
formal education. And let's be honest, was my formal education in photography really that beneficial? Yeah. one thing it did teach me though is to take critique, which I work with
Right.
clients a lot, and they always have notes and feedback. And
Yeah.
so like luckily college gives you this ability to take critique, because you sit in these critiques where like a professor and your fellow students will like rip your work apart, which is
Oh my
great.
gosh.
But like as a self-taught photographer coming up into like business and stuff, I bet you probably don't have that same kind of like feedback
You have
mechanism.
your husband just going, "Oh my gosh, those are so good,
Yeah,
honey.
those are great, honey. You should
They're
definitely
so
throw that
good.
filter on
You really
it.
have a great eye."
Yeah.
I'd never thought of it like that before, though. That would probably be really hard.
Oh, for sure.
You just throw up something you work so, because like in other like
it's so
degrees,
subjective.
you don't have that kind of stuff. Like in my business, I never had like a business plan thrown up where everyone just like shot
Pick you
holes in.
apart. Yeah.
That's why you shouldn't even just go to college.
Let's
Right?
be
They
real.
just
We
have a
probably
boss
won't
yelling
need
at
to
you.
anymore.
But at least he has to pay you to be there to get yelled at.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Oh,
really
man.
interesting.
Yeah.
So you got going in photography.
Yes, I got going in photography at BYU, and my stop motion career kind of like started as a student. I started making these little stop motion videos just for fun, but there was really no avenue to put them anywhere. I had this kind of like,
Like, where does that come from though? Like, did you like
Yeah.
stop motion growing up?
yeah, as a kid, I would do it with Legos.
You really did?
I really did. And I've been trying to like beg my mom to help me find these videos. They're yeah.
So like, how would you do it as a
So
kid?
Jared copied her.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jared.
Yeah, she's the OG.
No. I would just do it on a camcorder, right? So I would put the little like Lego minifigure there, and I'd push start and stop, and then I'd move it, and I'd push start, stop. So I was taking like small, tiny video clips, but the tech wasn't available like it is
Yeah.
today, right? So it was all really rudimentary, very shaky, really bad stop motion. But it was like my first foray into like making
But how cool that you were
film.
doing it though.
It was fun. And I'd do it for like projects like for school. They'd be like, we need to do a report on
Your solar
This.
system was like stop motion of like the planets moving around the sun.
yeah, something like that. But anyways, it was so fun. But I got to college and I started doing photography, and I really actually wanted to be an animation major, but I didn't have like technical drawing skills that I could reproduce from frame to frame. And it's a very competitive major at BYU. And I was like, there is no way I would ever like be like
Disney
high
hires
level
a bunch
enough.
of people from
Oh.
BYU, right?
Disney, Pixar, Blue Sky, Sony, like BYU, like it's like 100% placement basically. Like they
Yeah.
do a killer job.
Okay.
And so I really wanted to join the animation program because I wanted to be able to bring things to life, but I just didn't have like the technical skills to make that happen. So I was like, loved photography, loved the idea of being a photographer. And so as I started going in photography, I realized I can bring these to like my scenes to life the same way I did when I was a kid through stop motion animation. So I just started making animations just for fun. But there's nowhere to put them online because Instagram didn't have a video feature. I had a blog at the time and it did have 1,000 views a day, which is probably like better
pretty
than
good.
like my Instagram interaction anyways. I'm just teasing. But so I'd put things up on my blog, and then the day that Instagram launched its video feature, you could put 15-second videos up. That day, I put up my first stop motion video, and I was just like, "This is amazing! They have this video feature." And I had been working with like a couple of bloggers around this area.
Were you
and
still in school at the time?
I was still in school.
Okay.
And I'm still in school for a while in this story. But I had been working with some like local bloggers and had gotten like a very small social media following, but like the right people were following me. So I had like 3,000 followers. And one of my friends who worked at Chatbooks was like, "Hey, how about you do a stop motion for us? I just saw that you posted one. Can you do one for us?" And I was like, "Yes, I can." So I went to her house. We filmed a stop motion and they put that up. And then Susan Peterson saw it. And then I did one for Freshly
The
Picked.
Godfather. Susan sees it. You're good.
Yeah, right? Susan's amazing. But
so were they all with Lego at this time still?
no, nothing's with Lego.
Nothing with
This
Lego.
was so like with the Chatbooks one, it was like a Christmas holiday one.
Okay.
It had like bows and ribbons, and it's actually still one of my favorite videos because it was like the first one we produced. And then I did one for Freshly Picked, and by the time that Monday came around, post holiday, so I did a New Year's one for Freshly Picked and did a Christmas one for Chatbooks. But usually, like creative directors and people are out over holidays, and they're not really like drumming up new content. But Monday, after both of those videos had gone live over the holiday, I woke up and my email inbox had 35 client inquiries, including Condé Nast, which is Brides, Vogue, Glamour,
Whoa.
Golf, those magazines. And so I woke up and I was just like, holy crap. I have like people wanting to hire me for this. And so I charged Condé Nast $300 whole to make stop motion videos for them. And anyways,
Did you charge Chatbooks or Freshly Picked?
yeah, like I think like $200,
Yeah.
something like that. And it was just fun. It takes so much time.
Yeah.
Like, I think the video I did for Freshly Picked took 40 hours of animation.
And how long was the video?
I think 15 seconds.
Oh,
But it was 40 animation hours because we did these like exploding fireworks out of like sequins and like glitter. And so I'm like moving sequins like a half an inch at a time to make these explosions. And
You people are crazy.
yeah.
I honestly think we are psychopaths.
I don't understand. That would be, I mean, just the editing part would be crazy,
Yeah.
but let alone all the,
I don't think if you put all the money in the world and said make this,
yeah.
that I have the patience to do that. I don't know that I could. That's incredible.
Well, podcasts get me through it. Seriously, like I was animating for this TV spot that's going to be part of this like movie release in the next week for Philadelphia cream cheese, and we were filming this TV spot, and I mean we did just like so many filming hours. And I was like, all right, turn on Nitty Gritty. We got this. I'm like,
wow.
And then I also, a lot of audiobooks too. I listened to that new Twilight, Edward Cullen's perspective.
dear.
I
Oh,
started
my
that
gosh.
one. It is
Mormon
long.
pornography.
It is long. I got 12 hours into it and I was like, I can't take another 12 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's a 25-hour book.
Like when you started with like the Chatbooks and Freshly Picked, did you know that it was going to take like 40 hours? Or like, were you surprised that it was taking so long?
Well, I had done some stop motion just for fun before and put it up on my own social media. So I knew that it took a lot of time. But the Freshly Picked one was the first one where I had animated such tiny things and so many of them. So that is the first time I'd ever put 40 hours into an animation. So that was news. I was like, holy.
15-second spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think anyone realizes that.
I guess barbecue takes 15 hours for a 2-minute enjoyment of eating it.
Yeah.
That's true.
But that's still not even close to.
The difference though is like it's constant 40 hours.
Right.
Where like barbecue,
Yeah.
there's prep and a ton of work that goes into it, but then a lot of it.
But with my smokers, yeah, I can go home and go to bed once it's on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The smokers I used to work on, though.
That's not the case.
But I was
Texas.
But still, that's every like 30 minutes you got to, tend to your fire.
Yeah.
Right. But, and then just the small pieces. Like, I can't even put Lego things. I saw something on the news the other day that they were releasing the Colosseum, like the Roman Colosseum. Like, it's not in its like perfect state either, like in its current state. It's like a 980 piece Lego set. And I'm like if I committed a crime, it would be a better idea to make me do that than send me to jail. Like, I will never do it again, I promise. Like, that just looked so not fun to
And
me.
then can you imagine the kind of sets Jared builds? Like,
Oh.
the racetrack for Daytona
I watch
500.
his videos and I just get stressed
Especially
out.
when he has crowds like cheering.
Oh.
I'm like, dude, you're nuts. Green
like
screen
video
it
game
in.
people, like these games now are so
Real.
incredibly real.
Yeah.
But they don't even put half the effort into the crowd
No.
as far as making them all look different
Uh-uh.
and do different things that Jared does.
No.
As well as like hand move them all.
Yeah.
Touch
Yeah.
every single
Right.
one of them, every single
Like,
picture.
you see about 600 of the same guy and they're all doing the same movements. They're just kind of spread out, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
So nuts. But yeah,
So that Monday you wake up, you have
35 client emails.
All of a sudden you're like, oh, I have a business.
I'm a student and I'm starting a new semester. And I am like up to my eyeballs in like new schoolwork, trying to figure out what classes to be in. And also as like a newly married young woman, I am just like, I didn't have a job. I was like, this is now my job, I guess. And so I said yes to every single person at like whatever rate they would pay me. So like $150 for this one, $200 for that one, and I said yes to all of them. And I just went ham animating in our carpeted kitchen. Like, we lived in this basement apartment, super gross carpeted kitchen. I'm like animating sitting on the floor and there's like spaghetti stains next to me. And like,
At what point did somebody think that would be a good idea? Like,
No.
that was a style.
It's the same
right?
time they put carpet in the bathroom.
Yeah.
which is like the worst idea ever.
I should carpet my bathrooms in the restaurant. Just
Oh.
as a joke.
gosh.
You
it's so
definitely
bad.
should.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
so not hygienic.
No, I don't understand how that became a trend.
It's so gross.
Anyway, well, at least you had a soft floor to sit
Especially
on
if you have a
when you're-
kid. Like, if you're trying to potty train a child, do you know how much urine is on that car?
Yeah.
Oh, man. And I've got a 2.5-year-old, and we're about at that point, and I'm
Good
like,
luck.
not ready. But yeah, so I started just doing all this animation on the basement floor, and like to the point of the 40-hour animations, because I was doing this in my basement, and it was like in like where we were cooking and all that stuff, we didn't really have money to go eat out. So I had to just like do it in a single sitting. And so a lot of times if it was a 20-hour animation, I just wouldn't sleep for 20 hours. I would just animate 20 straight hours because I didn't have the ability to like turn it off, turn it back on, and it have not moved.
What year is this?
This is, what year is it? It's 2020.
Yes.
This is like 6 years ago.
Okay, so like technology wise, we're still like you've got good stuff to use,
better.
Right.
Yeah.
but still nothing compared to what we have now. I guess 6 years.
So
It's
cameras
true.
have come, that editing stuff has come a long way.
I mean, right. We've talked a lot about social media. Like, it's crazy to think that mobile social media, like on the phone, really didn't start until 2011.
Yeah. I think
It seems like it's been here forever.
in 2013 is when Instagram launched its video feature.
Wow.
And that's when I started.
Yeah.
So it actually launched on my birthday,
Oh,
June
really?
20th, 2013. So I turned 23 and they launched their video feature on my birthday, put up my first stop motion video, and just like went from there. And I feel like it was destined. Like,
So, like-
Instagram was
well,
like,
if
we
it's on
know.
your birthday too, yeah,
It's for you.
It
This
was
is
all
just for
destined
you.
for
Instagram
sure.
was like, happy birthday, have a career.
Yeah.
So like as you're getting going, did you love it? Like is
I
that
loved
why
it.
you're willing to go 20 hours nonstop?
Oh,
You
I
would have
love
to.
it. I really do. I mean, there are times, you hit hour 4 and you're rethinking your life because you're like, we don't even have a second yet, and I'm like dying. But yeah, I really love it. And there's a lot of aspects of stop motion that I love. I love prop shopping. I love getting to go to the store and just like blow money and know that I'm really not responsible for all that money I just spent. It's like the client gave me money. I'm going to just go spend it. So I love prop shopping. That's one of my favorite things to do. But I love like the styling it. I love lighting it. I love just like seeing it come to life. But the most rewarding part is putting in like 2 hours of like working crazy, and then pushing play, and then like seeing something that is totally stationary be brought to life. That's like the most magic part.
So is
of the
that
process.
so is the process, I'm sure it's different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But are you watching what you're filming? I guess, are you shooting the scene as you build something, you shoot it. Are you watching it back like in real
Yeah.
time?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
So
adjusting on the fly.
yeah, so I have a camera set up and it's hooked up to my computer. So I can like watch my computer and animate with my hands, and you can overlay the previous frame with what you currently have. So you see exactly how far you've moved something, and so you can replicate that.
So you don't
Over
look
and
at
Now,
over
what
is that
you don't
new
look at
now,
what
or
you're
did
doing.
you have that back then?
At that time, I didn't have that.
Okay.
And so it was literally me sitting on the floor going, I hope that one worked. Take a picture. And then I'd like toggle back and forth between the pictures. And then I'd do it again and toggle back and forth between the pictures. And now with like the tech that I'm doing now, I mean, I could have probably filmed a lot of those videos a lot faster. I just didn't
Right.
have the
Yeah.
tech.
See, and
time.
what prop shopping, that's something that I don't think any of us have thought about with
Oh, it's my
some
favorite
of these
part.
videos is like you've got to create the idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put it on paper. But then whatever you don't have, you have to go. Like, where do you go prop shopping most of the time? Do you have your spots?
Target.
Of course.
I wouldn't be there.
Of course.
I'm just kidding. No, I have a lot
I
of
wish
like
some
favorite
company would
places.
give my wife money to go get her Target fixed.
Oh no, that's so seriously. And I'm like, even though I'm here buying something I don't want or need, I'm still buying stuff at Target.
I
It's like
wonder
so
what-
much therapy for me.
I wanna
and
get-
also my husband lets me go out of the house without a kid. Because like when I'm in prop shopping mode, I have to make so many decisions based on like the client's branding and their color palette and all that stuff, that if I'm trying to make decisions with a 2-year-old,
Right.
like crying, being
Like,
like,
honey, you're retired. You can watch the kid.
seriously,
I'm
so,
going to Target.
so I always
That
get to go to
PhD
Target
for something
by
good.
myself.
That's right. Right?
So it's so nice. I go to Target, I look at all the things, I just buy what I want. The client pays for it.
We need to get a Target exec on the show because I want to know
We
what
need to be
Target
sponsored by
sees.
Target.
Yeah.
Our guests are the #1 spenders at Target.
I want to see what they see, like our Mormon women.
Yeah.
Are they like better shoppers per capita or like hours spent in the store? I would love to see
I'm
how
100%
Utah
positive that
women
is the
are.
case.
I want to see how Utah women are compared to everywhere else in the world that has Targets.
Well, we just barely did a stint living in Philly for a year, and I would go to the Target religiously. I would drive like 30 minutes to go to Target. And like if you go to Utah and like the Hearth and Hand Magnolia collection launches, I was there for Christmas stuff. You guys, no, seriously. No, seriously, guys. I was at Target when they were stocking the floor with it, and there are ladies like circling like vultures, and they're like grabbing mugs,
Crazy.
grabbing wreaths. And I'm just like, yeah, if you need your Christmas stuff, you're going to be here the day they put it on the floor and you're going to get your stuff.
Right.
But in Philadelphia, it's like they've got like last season and the season before, because no one is like as crazy about it as I think Utah women.
That's what I'm
we
saying.
love Target.
It's all Target. Like it's not Walmart.
Oh no.
It's not.
Oh,
Well, I mean, that's how.
dirty.
It is yeah.
Well, that's like why Susan started, Jenna. Like, how many of our guests have been like, the only reason I started a business is so I could go to Target and spend money and not feel bad. That's how these massive businesses and organizations were created, was because they wanted to go to Target.
I don't understand. Why Target. Like, what about Target?
Elevated design aesthetic. You know,
Oh, we're getting real now.
you guys, I have like a real love for Target. We don't want to go.
So
there.
my wife does too. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like I see Target weekly on the bank statement.
Well, my husband will be like, well, we should just go pick one up at Walmart. I'm like, what? No.
Like, ew.
What did you say?
We're going to Target.
Ew.
And it might be like, we need clothing hangers. And I'm like, yeah, we're not going to get plastic ones at Target. We're going to go get the wood ones at, sorry, like plastic ones at Walmart. We're going to go get the wood ones from Target.
Why isn't Target 24-hour here?
Oh, I think it is.
Oh, shut up. Is it really?
Yeah. The Orem one, the Provo one isn't, but the Orem one is.
They're beta.
Oh, no.
testing certain
Actually,
locations.
I don't think.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
think
they're
it
not. Maybe
is.
they're not.
They need to start
You're
making
right.
some
They're
Target
not. But if
superstars
they
here.
were.
Like, this is where they should test all their new concepts. They should just do a Target like furniture store,
Oh, man.
right? Just
That'd
like
be
a
dirty.
home decor store. I bet they would kill here with that.
They would. Target anything here will sell.
gosh.
Anyways, so that's my love of
right.
Target.
So prop shopping.
Yeah, love prop shopping. I love prop shopping. Okay, going back in time though,
Yeah.
taking on clients. I'm still a student at BYU. I start working for Lindor Chocolate, Stonyfield Yogurt. I flew out to New York and did like a 3-week stint
Hold on. Like, those
working
are
for
like
Etsy.
some big names really quick.
Oh, but okay, yeah, yep. But
But, like,
it's because there were only like 2 other people on planet Earth doing what I was doing at the time. So the 3 of us kind of monopolized every large client that was wanting to innovate in the stop motion, like social media space. No one was doing stop motion on social media, like not a soul.
Why?
So myself, well, just no one knew how. No one
So what does that
really
mean?
thought about
Sorry,
it.
I guess I'm like, what is different about stop motion and stop motion on social media?
Oh, so like stop motion, like a film. So stop motion's been around for a long time.
sure.
So like people were making movies like Wallace and Gromit, Gumby, Kubo and the Two Strings, Box Trolls, Coraline, you know, like all these big movies, but no one was translating that into like a micro content form
For like businesses.
Yeah, for businesses. No one was doing like, I mean, you might produce a stop motion commercial, but a lot of times they go to the big film production houses and they're like, oh, we want to film this really cool big commercial. And people are like, yeah, okay, budget's $200,000. Let's go for it. And these are the companies that can do that. But no one was translating this into this micro
Right.
marketing platform. And so that's kind of like,
Did you do that intentionally? Like, did you see that opportunity, or did you kind of just by virtue of circumstance kind of fall into it?
well, of course I don't have the ability to work at a big movie studio. So it was kind of just like my foray into animating. And I've never worked really anywhere. Like I've always had like little jobs and stuff, but I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. My dad was an entrepreneur. We started like a shave ice business when I was like 10. We were making like $600 a week. And as a kid, like that was amazing. And anyway, so I've always had this like desire to just like make it myself and work for myself. And so I never wanted to work at a big movie studio or anything. I just wanted to do it myself.
Yeah.
And so I had kind of seen that this was a way I could service clients just by working in my basement on the carpet.
Because like you're very
Kitchen floor.
you're
Yeah.
very casually and humbly talking about that, but that's kind of a big deal that you've
Right.
found that niche at the time you did. Like
It was pretty
it's pretty
intense.
incredible.
I remember sitting down and I wrote down on some sticky notes. I mean, social media is still really fresh. Like Instagram's only a couple of years old. I like Googled biggest companies on social media and I started writing them down. And then I went, okay, well, which one of these kind of like fit my vibe and like crafty and colorful? So I started making a list, and Bath and Body Works was like the number one I put on my list. They had like 1 million followers on Instagram, and I'm like, they're colorful. It totally fits my vibe. And 3 weeks later, I got an email from Bath and Body Works saying, "Hey, we'd love you to do stop motion for
That they
our
reached out to
social
you.
media." Yeah, and
It's like
what's
the
the secret.
Called The Secret. Yeah,
I like
putting it out there.
manifested it into my life. It was crazy. I remember getting that email and just being like, holy smokes, this is nuts. And so I created this big back to school campaign for Bath and Body Works. And then Etsy reaches out and they're like, hey, we want to do stop motion for a Christmas campaign. And
Wait, did you say Bed Bath and Beyond or Bath and Body Works?
Bath and Body Works,
I thought
lotions.
you said Bed Bath and Beyond the
No,
first time.
No, Bath.
Okay,
Bath
I
and
was
Body
totally
Works.
confused there. They both smell good.
They do both smell fabulous.
Right.
But then Etsy reaches out, and I had lots of like mom and pop Etsy shops reach out over that like previous like 8 months of like doing stop motion. And so I just thought this was another Etsy shop. The girl who reached out, her name was Eva Green. So I just thought her Etsy shop was like Eva Green. You know, like I'm like, it's like a plant store,
Clever.
something like that. And
Evergreen.
so I ended up, and she was like, we would like to shoot in New York. And so I ended up sending like this really probably rude email. Not, it wasn't rude. I have actually
Like,
reread
you're just
it.
an Etsy store.
No,
I'm working with
no.
Philly cream cheese right now.
No,
so
no.
I'll have one of my interns call.
My email response was like, I don't live in New York. You would probably have to pay some travel fees.
Yeah.
And she's like, we get that.
Oh.
like, cause I was just thinking, it was like this lady who runs like a plant Etsy store, and they're like Etsy, the corporation, saying, come to New York. And I'm like,
Wow.
you're going to have to pay for me to get on an airplane.
Oh
Because
my
I can't
God.
fork out that money.
I missed that part. So it wasn't an Etsy store. It was Etsy.
It was Etsy.
Wow.
Yeah. So Etsy, the company, the corporation, is like, come to New York. And so they flew myself in. They flew in a paper artist. We spent 3 weeks shooting all the stills and this big stop motion video for the
3
Christmas
weeks?
campaign. Mm-hmm. So we just, and I mean, it was.
Were you still like dealing with imposter syndrome at that point? Like,
well,
what am I doing
I'm
here?
still a student at BYU.
Right.
And
Like, how are you
asking
charging
my
people?
professor, saying, hey, could I get 3 weeks of leeway on this project? I'm going to be in New York
With Evergreen?
shooting for Etsy. And anyways, I remember landing in New York, and I opened up my email, and Aeropostale had sent me an email saying, we want 8 videos for Christmas too. And so I'm like, okay, I can fit that in. And so I finished. I'm like, as I'm working at Etsy, I'm like sending emails to Aeropostale, like trying to figure that out. So I get back, and I started out working on my senior project, which was a stop motion short film. And I start working for Aeropostale, and then it just snowballed. It just, because I was one of the only people creating this kind of stop motion micro content on Instagram. All these big companies, the people that have budget to pay you to make stop motion videos, they were the ones reaching out. And so I just, from the very beginning, it started happening, and then it snowballed. I will caveat this, it's not like it just happened to me. There was a shiz ton of work that I had to do
of course.
to like deliver to these clients. And,
Well, yeah. I mean, 40 hours, 15 seconds. Yeah.
The transformation, I would have loved to seen like the young starving student. Like, at what point was there a job or something that happened where you finally realized that you were kind of a badass?
I
And
feel like that's not the case.
and like, I need to start charging more, because that's the other
Yeah.
thing. Like, we talk about that all the time, like how to put more value on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure at that point, when you're that young, you think everything's just kind of dumb luck.
Oh yeah.
Right?
And it was.
And you're like, you're going to pay for my plane ticket? Oh, I'll just do it for like,
Oh no, yeah.
you pay the travel, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you don't realize, like, yeah, I mean, you're talking like Condé Nast or Condé Nast. I mean, that's like the rich white person, everything, right? Isn't that like all that they do? Like, there's money there.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
it's so hard to say,
I need some of that.
yeah, or like, yeah, a
Yeah.
few $100 is great, when they're like, oh, this is way better than the $50K we were going to pay her.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Like, was there ever,
Yeah,
was there
so-
a specific job where it kind of clicked?
It all
Your
came
value?
very slowly. So, I took those 35 clients on that first month. And I worked myself to the ground, no sleep,
'Cause you're at school too,
trying to do
right?
school, trying to do these videos. And I worked myself crazy. And I was like, all right, I can't charge $350 for this anymore. I'm going to charge $5. So I started charging $5, but no one said no. So then I started charging $8 and no one said no. So I started charging $1,000 and no one said no. And I'm like, I'm still too busy. So now I'm charging $1,500 and then I'm charging $2,000 and then I'm charging $2,500 and then I'm charging $3,000. And it's just
And
like,
they're all still
and
saying
like,
yes.
and as I'm
I should have started with this number. Damn it.
seriously, as I'm like increasing the number, and this is of course over like months,
For sure.
right? As I'm increasing this number, people are falling off. But it's clients that I would have.
want.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want. You know, I want to do really great work that I can concentrate on for money that can provide for my family and not spin my wheels doing like so much work for so many clients and always giving like a lesser product because I'm so tired.
Like, sorry, honey, I know you went to school for 30 years, but you're going to have to stay home now. Because what is he again?
PhD biochemist.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he has
So
pretty,
he went to like, he did like
bachelor's,
20 plus
master's,
years,
PhD,
right?
and postdoctoral research position.
night. I bet he's really good at changing diapers.
He is
Probably has
very
an
good.
excellent system.
No, he is like the most brilliant human being you'll ever meet.
How
and
cool.
I am very lucky that I get his skill set in what I do because I mean, there's so many instances in what we do in stop motion where I'm like, I can't figure this out. I'm going to need you. So we recently did this job for Pinterest where we had to create this tutorial on naturally dyeing fabrics with at-home materials. And so I was like, go ham on it. Like, you do your thing. And so he was like, if we change the pH of this, it will give us a really nice purple. If we change the pH to this, it will give us a really good blue. And so he, for 2 weeks, like troubleshot that entire project. So we were able to come to Pinterest and say, these are the colors we can get out of fabric with these natural dyes that you can find at home. And then I got to take the creative from there and go, and then this is how we present it in a story pin.
Like I brought in this PhD.
I brought in a PhD.
I paid for it.
Don't worry.
So I'm not even going to charge you for
it
that.
does reflect in your invoice.
I mean, you totally could charge for that, right?
Yeah. But anyway, so there's a lot of instances where I just need someone with some brains to like help me figure something out. And he is incredible at that. So
Wow.
he's awesome.
What do you think is the most misunderstood like part of stop motion?
Oh, probably the time that
Yeah.
it takes. I mean, and the thing is, I feel like I even fall into that trap. I'll be like scrolling on Instagram. I'm like, that probably took like 10 minutes. And then I'm like, oh, but then you got to go prop shopping. So there's an hour. And then you got to set up the lights, which is like at least 30 to 45 minutes. And then you got to set up the camera. And then, okay, we're already at 3 hours and you haven't even started moving anything yet. So
Is that how you charge now? Like, is it a per hour type of thing, or is it just like
Like a project.
yeah, I do a project fee. And here's the thing. Am I doing it right? I don't even know if I'm doing it right. Because I feel like
dude, you say it all the time. Nobody knows what they're doing.
know.
Oh, exactly.
Even the most like put together entrepreneurs with multi-million-dollar companies, there's still some like, oh, let's just throw that out there and see if it works.
Well, I think that's what everything is. Just figuring
Right.
it out and like creative problem solving.
That's
but
what entrepreneurship. That's why it's so fun.
totally.
Yeah, how
but
much
I'm like,
money can we dupe out of people? No, I'm just kidding.
no, but I'm just like, I've kind of like built what I'm doing right now, just like straight up trial and error, figuring it out. And I would love for someone to come in and say, oh, you're a professional stop motion artist. This is how you're supposed to do it. But the thing is, I don't think that there's a person who does, like, I think that's me. Right? Like,
Well,
I've
but
been
you
doing
are
this
that-
for
you are that
7+
person.
years
Yeah.
now.
You
And
probably
so
just don't
there's
know
really
that
no
yet.
one who can tell me how to be me better than I can be me.
Well, because
right?
you're that person, right? Like
You-
you are
Maybe.
the OG.
Your next
You're the one-
evolution is going to be you are going to be doing that for people.
I don't
Right.
know. Oh,
Well, and
man.
ultimately, it's just what's it worth to me to do this? Because, like
Yeah,
you
well,
said,
that's what
like,
it is.
it started becoming more and more work. Like smaller companies, they started dropping off.
Yeah.
And if you're excited about what you're getting paid to do the job, then it's enough.
Oh, totally.
Right?
And honestly, that's how I price.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
I mean, and as a freelancer, I think that you have the ability to price that way. If it's a job I am so
So if people
stinking
are
excited
hiring
about. Yeah. I mean,
add in the like 1,000. Like we
Add a zero
We're going to
on
give
it.
you $1,000 to Target for prop shopping.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Like we need Target,
Yeah.
right?
Definitely.
Little things like
I
that.
do prop shop at a lot of other places too. But even if I don't need Target, I hit up Target just so I can get some therapy time.
I wonder how many times she's lied to her husband. Like, oh, I've got to go do some prop shopping.
Oh,
at
all the
Target.
time. Oh man. And then on the flip side, this is how I
Yeah.
I return anything I don't use, right? So I'm like really, I don't like waste
Sure.
in the studio because I only have so many square feet to like fill with props. So if I don't use the props or if it's not damaged anyway, and all it did was sit on my table for a picture for like 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever, I'll go return it because someone else can get use out of it. Where for me, it's going to sit in a
Whatever you're
cupboard
tell
and
yourself.
it's
I
gonna,
understand.
yeah. Well, actually, I visited a photographer once he's been a photographer in Utah for like 50, 60 years. Like he's this old dude. And I went to his studio because I was looking for studio space, and it was like entering an episode of Photographer Hoarders. It was just like props everywhere, backgrounds
Fujifilm.
everywhere, stuff everywhere. And he's like, "Oh, you haven't even seen my warehouse where I keep all the other stuff." And I'm like, "You have a warehouse?"
That gives me a little bit of anxiety.
No.
Sure.
I thought to myself, I will become this person in 60 years if I don't edit down what I bring into my studio and what I keep. So I only keep the best stuff that I use over and over again in my studio, because if not, I'm going to own a warehouse one day and it is going to be full of confetti and backgrounds and paper colors and plates. And
Who was it? It was Corey from Taft, right? That when he started his business, they would buy shoes from Nordstrom Rack, tape the bottom, take pictures of them,
That's
and then
right.
take them back. Because he was a sock company at that time, right?
you also can't just use the same pair of shoes in photos every single time.
Yeah,
You have to recycle props. You can't use the same thing for the same client, or else it
Well, it's not like
starts to look the same.
they weren't brand new still. I mean,
Yeah. And it's
totally
true.
makes
It's
sense.
true. Like you don't use them. Like if I'm shooting something and it's like, oh, there's a fork in this scene, I'm just going to touch that fork a couple times.
Right.
Then I'm going to clean it off, put it back in the box. No harm. But if,
Oh,
I mean,
for sure.
if I
And why keep
scratch
it?
something or if I
Yeah.
damage something, I don't take it back.
Oh,
of
I
course.
totally get it.
Or if it's something where I don't feel good about taking things back, I'll like donate it to someone who can use
Your
it.
warehouse would be out of control already.
Oh, baby. Yeah.
Like I've walked into the LDS motion picture studio. So they have 3 like prop warehouses.
Yeah.
Holy crap. I mean,
Costume.
they're like football fields long.
Yeah.
2-3 stories of just furniture and costumes, and oh my gosh, it's like a hoarder's dream in there. But
It is, but
that is so much space.
But
for
also,
stuff
it
they're
takes so
probably
much time to organize that. It
Yeah.
takes so much time to upkeep it and then to find it when you need it.
Well, and
you know?
styles change. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to reuse
So I try
80% of that stuff.
try to edit it down, keep it
Yeah,
as
that's
like
smart.
minimal as possible.
Plus, it's good that you're returning things, because my wife will always say, like, no, I'm going to return it. And then I'll find it in the closet like 2 years later. Like, she always forgets to return things.
I like to return it for straight cheddar. Like, give me cash, and then that cash is my like actual spending money.
For straight cheddar.
I'm like, just give that to me in cash,
I learned
and
that
then
from Evergreen.
yes, I did.
Oh, man.
Has there been a job that stands out as like one of the most fun or maybe most challenging?
Stinking fun. All of them. No, not all of them. Some of them are miserable. Most of them are fun. I've only had a couple that were not as fun. I loved shooting the Etsy job. I met this amazing paper artist from London. Her name is Helen Friel. And I subsequently went to London to work with her for a couple weeks for my internship as a student, because I'm still student, right?
Wow.
Still student, and I needed to get an internship. So I was like, hey, Helen, can I just like come shadow you and learn about your paper craft, and we can just like do some fun projects together? And she's like, I actually have some client stuff in the pipeline I don't have a photographer for. If you're game to shoot it, that'd be great. So I flew to London and I did my internship with my friend Helen. And so I loved doing the Etsy job.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
Like, that was it's funny because you're talking about all this stuff kind of like
Very
it just
casually.
yes. And it's like, it'd be interesting to kind of dive more into the entrepreneurial side of your childhood, because you're making really smart moves. Like, these are things that, like, I wouldn't be where I am barbecue wise if I hadn't established some relationships and
Yeah.
asked to work, under some people. But like, that was a very smart thing to do. And you just kind of looked at it, I'm sure, kind of like, well, yeah, I just want to learn. Like, do you mind?
Well,
But that was a big deal.
firstly, I just wanted to go to London.
Well, right.
and,
With your cheddar.
and also she just like is just this incredible paper artist, and I wanted to be in using paper in my work a lot more. And if you look at my work now, there's a lot of paper elements that I do, and I don't like, how else do you learn how to become a paper artist?
Why did she say yes to you though?
Because we had spent 3 weeks hanging out together at Etsy. We're the same age. I think she might be 2 years older than me. So we're very much the same age. We're very much contemporaries in our careers. And so reaching out and being like, hey, I want to learn some more. She was great. And I did some stop motion. She had a book coming out, this really cool book called Midnight Creatures. It's a pop-up book. You read in the dark and you get out your flashlight and you can see different shapes and stuff. And you can it's like a search and find book. So you take your flashlight and you can find like sea creatures and bats.
That's really cool.
So we did this really cool stop motion in the dark where we brought out a flashlight and we found creatures. And so part of it was creating this promotional piece for her. And that
So there it is. Like, because that's the thing. I don't know how many emails I've gotten.
People who are like, teach me barbecue, please.
Like, can I please come? Like, my
husband would probably be one of those people.
Yeah.
He is. Well, he would love that.
It's funny. There has to be what people forget.
Well, what Richie Norton said, if you're going to pick my brain, you must be a zombie.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, yeah, there's got to be.
Also, Richie's the best.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
I went to school at BYU Hawaii, and Richie and Natalie were like my parents.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We've been family friends for a long time, that I truly consider Natalie like a sibling. And like Richie and Natalie, they're the best people. They're good people.
They're amazing. Well, it's kind of the third door type stuff, right? Like you've got to, one, there either has to be kind of that mutual respect or tit for tat, right? There's got to be something beneficial for both parties. Like, but I get asked all the time, like, can I please come work for you for like, you don't have to pay me and I want to learn barbecue. And I'm like, look, man, I don't respond to a lot of them, but that's the thing. Like, it took me, I almost got divorced, like figuring all this stuff out. Like, I moved away from my wife and kids, figuring, like, when people complain about my barbecue class fee, right? It's still too cheap, but it's like you don't realize the work that went into it. So asking somebody established like you did to like learn from them, there's a big lesson there. Like, it's good to ask because squeaky wheel gets the grease, but there has to be value. I think there was a whole like chapter about this in Third Door. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but like when he was writing those emails to these people, it's like, it can't just be, do you care if I come?
Can I just like come hang out in your
there's gotta-
studio and
yeah,
like take
gotta
up
be
space
value.
and just like watch you?
Right. Like there's got to be,
There has to be
value, respect, something.
Yeah, you're gonna bring something to the
but-
table that I don't have too.
Right.
You know.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah. Kind of good.
So then did it just kind of continue to snowball, the stop motion stuff?
Yeah, it did. It snowballed. It kept going. I kept on taking on clients. I started learning how to be a professional. I mean, I cringe looking back at some of the emails that I sent. And also a lot of it was learning, like now I know the process. Like, what do I need to do in the process so the client knows what they're getting, so that I know what I'm giving, and so that I'm not guessing as I'm making, and then they get it and they're like, actually, per our brand guidelines, we don't use silver forks. We only use gold, and I didn't know those things, starting out. But now I understand. I ask for brand guidelines because I don't want to do anything that's different. And then I also, before we shoot, here's a photo in the lighting we're going to use, on the background we're going to use, with all the props we're going to use, and your product. This is what everything's going to look like. And so that they can see it and go, actually, that's the wrong fork. And I can remedy that before I put in the 40 hours.
Yeah.
But these are things that I didn't know in the beginning. So I would film a stop motion video and then they'd be like, oh, no, we need to change these things. And I'd be like, are you going to pay me to reshoot? And they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so, it's like trial and error like that.
Like, but my kitchen needs new carpet.
I know, but my kitchen is gross. Anyways, so I mean, it's things like that I learned in that period of time. Like, how do I need to make my process streamlined so that there isn't reshooting on the back end? And if there is reshooting on the back end, it can be spelled out like, this is what I'm shooting for you. These are the props. This is the lighting.
It's your fault,
this
not
is the storyline.
Right.
If you approve this and there's any changes on the back
You're paying
end,
for it, sucker.
that's something that you need to foot the bill for. But it never happens anymore. Like
Right.
that's never the case. And if it is, it's like, oh, we need like this tiny little piece changed for this reason, and then we change that tiny little piece and we can like cut it in differently or whatever. but like recently I was doing a job for Martha Stewart and I used a dry measuring cup to measure liquid ingredients in the video. And you don't do that when you're working for Martha Stewart. For me, I'm like, it's a cup.
Everything's pre-measured for.
I'm like, it's a cup of honey. I just put in a cup of honey. And they're like, no, you need to use a wet measuring cup if you're measuring viscous materials. So I had to reshoot that whole piece because I had used the incorrect measuring cup. Part of me was like, this is going on social media. No one cares. But they're like, no, it's Martha Stewart. People care. And so that was like a mistake that I needed to remedy because I hadn't shown my measuring cups to them before I started.
So,
but these are the things you learn. Like I wouldn't make that mistake ever again because I learned, okay, you show them every single prop that's going to be in it, you know.
Would you ever tell us what the worst company to work with has been?
No, because I still work with them.
Yeah. So there is one.
I did do this like really large job. It's the largest job I've ever done to date.
What does that mean?
It had the most zeros at the end of the job, as well as the biggest scope of work.
Number of videos or just length of video?
So I did 8 30-second videos with a 15-second cut down, 5 stills.
With the 15-second cut down.
So it's like I made a 30-second video and then we made a shorter version of that video.
Okay.
So
do that with commercials all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So you might see like something on YouTube and then you might see like a shorter version of it show up on your Instagram account kind of thing. So 8 30-second videos. 8 30-second videos, 8 15-second cut downs of those videos, 5 stills for each of those videos, and then a big behind the scenes version.
Content type thing.
Yeah. And here's the thing is I don't think it was necessarily error on their part as much as youth on my part. Just because
youth and experience. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, just like inexperience. They wanted this huge set of deliverables. If I were to do it now, I would know how to budget my time. I'm never late on client anything. I will like stay up all night. And this video, we're producing it between Thanksgiving and we already had planned to go to Florida for Thanksgiving and we came back and I hadn't been producing stuff that whole time. And I came back and we started producing these videos like mad people, just like going crazy at it. And I got the flu in the meantime. And I was sitting at my animation stand and I was animating and then I'd throw up in a bucket. I'd throw up in a bucket and then I would keep animating and then I'd throw up in a bucket and then I keep animating and then I throw up in a bucket and keep animating. And I just animated my way through this illness. And if I had been smarter and like budgeted my time better and like, you know, that said no to the Florida trip.
You would have never been able to do that.
No.
Nope. You would have never. But I can't even get up and get a drink of water when I feel like that. Like, honey, I'm thirsty.
I don't know. There's just like this thing where like I am just like, I will not get, if you have a deadline, I make your deadline. And so I just stayed up all night, like for multiple days, like 3 days, just like vomiting and animating at the same time.
Oh my God.
And it was so rough. It was probably one of the more rough experiences, but I hope it shows some grit there. Like when I tell you I'm going to do something.
I hope it shows some grit there. Good hell.
What else could we show?
Grit might not even do it. Like that word, I think we need to find a different word. That's like beyond. So how do you shut it off?
It doesn't ever shut off.
But I mean, does that not make it hard at home? Like,
of course.
You know what I mean? Like, is that a hard thing to balance, or have you figured that out yet? Or
so we're trying to kind of build this lifestyle where we do what we want with our time. So I'm sorry, I keep on knocking that.
That's okay.
So now, like fast forwarding all that experience and all those years, we're at a different place right now. We try to only take on jobs that we really love to do or that are going to be worth it monetarily to give us that kind of freedom.
Right.
So, you know, in the beginning when I was taking on like 30 jobs in a month, it's like, that's a stop motion video every single day. Now it's like, I'll take on 1 or 2 or maybe 5. Like 5 is where I like super max out right now.
Are most people just doing one video with you, or is it typically these brands want 3 to 4?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It depends.
We call that a suite in the industry,
of video.
Andrew.
Like
it's a suite. I understood you.
Good.
Sorry. The only suite I know is at sport games.
That's right. It's the best place to sit. Everyone knows that.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just depends. So
Okay.
some clients would be like, we are launching this product line. We want one video for each thing, or we're doing a holiday campaign and we need 8 weeks worth of content, or, that kind of thing. So it just depends.
Is it more normal now at this stage? Like, do you only try to take suites
Yes.
since
No.
it's bigger and more?
No.
Okay.
No. So like the job I did for Philly cream cheese is 30 seconds. And so that if you have that many seconds, you're animating, you just add a big 0 at the end,
Right.
if not another 0 at the end of like what you're shooting, because you have so much animation to do. But also like a video that's that long and has multiple scenes and has a lot of different elements, you want to take a lot of time to produce that video. So like that video, it's like, I'm going to schedule out a month to like produce that video. And yeah, I don't know.
It's like when you're doing that and you get set up in your studio, is that the only setup you're using? Or like, are you doing multiple jobs at the same time because of how you're set up?
Yeah. So we're usually, I don't know what it is. It's this like creative thing where it's like when it rains, it pours. It's like when one client is like, hey, want to do a video? Simultaneously, I always do things in threes like that. And that's not intentional, but clients always come to me in threes. There's always 3 clients I'm working for and producing at the same time in the same
That's just
timeline.
a universal thing.
It's
Because
like
the
the
whole when
weirdest
it
thing.
rains, it pours is totally true.
Yeah.
And things comes in like threes.
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird how
It is the weirdest thing.
It
Every
is.
once in a while, I'll have like a 4th, and I'm like, what? How did I get a 4th client? But no, things come.
But when it
from-
rains, it pours.
It does. So I'll usually be producing multiple things at a time.
So just different setups in your studio?
No, so they're usually in around the same phase, but it's like I'll go do all the prop shopping for all the jobs in one day, and I'll just take a huge day for prop shopping. And then I have a studio where I have so many tables. It's like this table's for Sesame Street, this table's for Philadelphia cream cheese, this table's for Play-Doh, this table,
Notice these brands, and she's very
I actually
casual.
haven't.
So
I
I was
actually
gonna
have
say
not
that
shot
earlier,
for Play-Doh.
like,
I have
we
not
need
shot for Play-Doh. Play-Doh, please hire me. I did shoot for a dough company called Dough Parlor. They're based
Right.
out of Canada. Their dough smells amazing. It's like scented dough. Oh, it's amazing.
Wow. I was going to say, we need a little like sound bite that says like, no big deal.
No big
After
deal.
every company name. That,
Yeah.
like, so I was doing this thing with Martha Stewart.
No big deal.
And no big deal. Oh my gosh. It's crazy.
Pepsi,
Yeah.
Nestle, Netflix. No big deal.
So
Warner Brothers.
Crap.
So
No big deal.
this is in. Have you gotten to the point where you don't work with a lot of small business now because you've earned the right
depends.
to charge for what you want to do, that you've maybe priced yourself out of what small business
Yeah.
do?
Yes and no. If you come to me with something that I want to do, I'll do it.
Okay.
So I went through this time. 2 years ago, I gave birth to my first and only at the moment child. And it was like a crazy birth, really intense. And it like worked my body. We ended up doing a C-section, all that stuff. And then 3 months later, so I won a car for,
Hold on.
So-
Hold on.
sorry. Can I clear?
For having a baby, you won a car?
No. So
Wow.
prior to having the baby, there's this contest where it's like make a video for audible.com, the audiobook company. I listen to audiobooks
I love Audible.
like no one's business. I just eat them up because I animate for 40 hours
Yeah.
at a time. So I love Audible. They sent out this email being like, we're doing this contest where we're giving away 20 cars, create a video of why you love Audible, and
gosh.
we'll choose 20 people to give cars to. So I was like, I don't have any clients right at this moment. I think I did have a couple, but I was like, I'm going to make a video. And I ended up winning this like really expensive car. I won like a Volvo XC60,
Holy
totally
crap.
tripped out. I got it and had 4 miles on it. They upgraded the sound system to be like this $5,000 Bose sound. It was amazing. And I won this car. So after I give birth to my baby 2 weeks later, and I mean, I'm in all sorts of like state of after having C-section and that stuff, we go pick up this car, has 4 miles on it. 3 months later, we're driving next to Seven Peaks. And we're just heading to get slab pizza. Love slab pizza. There's this kid who was texting while he was driving. And I was sitting in the back next to my baby, and he got, we were coming around this corner, and he was going straight because he was texting. He didn't realize there was a turn. And so he got my door, and it shattered my shoulder. I have a scar that goes like from here to here. And it shattered my shoulder. And 3 weeks later, we were supposed to move to Philadelphia for my husband's postdoctoral research. And so we're just like trying to figure out everything. Like, I had to go in for surgery. They had to reconstruct the shoulder, but I also have a 3-month-old baby who I can't take care of with only one arm. So like, how do I change diapers or get him out of his crib or any of those things with a single arm? Like, how do you change a poopy diaper with one arm?
Wow.
Anyways, and so I ended up living with my parents for a month while my husband like set up our house in Philadelphia while I started to heal. And then I moved over to Philadelphia, and work got really slow because I was saying no to everything. I couldn't physically animate and take care of a 3-month-old baby. And I'm not by a studio. I'm in my parents' home. So work super slowed down, but I had won this car. And fast forward, my husband and I decided, okay. I broke my shoulder on Saturday, and I was supposed to start filming for this really massive grocery store chain starting on Monday. And I didn't have the ability to do it, but my husband had defended his PhD on Friday. So Friday, PhD defense, Saturday, car accident, Monday, we start shooting. And I couldn't afford to lose this client because I needed the money to pay for surgery and all, like moving to Philadelphia, all that kind of stuff. So I said yes. And we postponed the surgery, and with a broken arm, I was like all like slinged up and broken arm. I animated the entire 30-second commercial with one hand, which took exponentially more hours than it should have. And I'm like on Percocet. I'm like
You're really creative. Then.
And I'm like,
I have so many great ideas right now.
But also like my husband stepped in and started animating with me. We flew in my sister who helped. That's the first time. Well, I mean, he'd always done stuff with me. I mean, he's been around the whole process for all these years, but that was the first time that he had dedicated time to like really be a part of the production aspect. And so it wasn't till later when we moved to Philadelphia, he's like, you know what? I really enjoyed working with you. And that's kind of like what gave us that spark of like, let's work together. And so we start working. So we decided while we're living in Philly, we're going to go back to Utah. And we're going to start working together because we had this house that has a studio that we kind of built a studio into. And so we're like, we're going to go back. But all that time in Philadelphia, I only took on like a few clients just because I'm still recovering. I have this new baby. I'm in this new place. And everything was really slow. I also wasn't posting on social media very much. I was just kind of trying to figure out like this new normal. Right. So my husband and I start working together, and then we find out we owe because we won that car. Taxes.
People never figure that.
Well, I mean, I know we're gonna. And the thing is, they gave us $10,000 up front to pay the taxes on the car.
Oh, they did.
They did. They gave us.
Oh,
cash.
Wow! Most people don't do that.
Yeah, they gave us a cash payment, but that all went into surgery.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. So last summer, we get this tax bill. We pay it. We had $54 in our bank account, and we had just started working together that week. And our stress level was just like through the roof. Like we didn't have money to buy anything. And you guys, like, this is last summer. This isn't like a long time ago. Not this past 2020 summer, but 2019 summer. Right. We had nothing. And it was just like, we were eating ramen and like, but the thing is I'm shooting for all these big clients and doing all this great stuff, but like life circumstances has brought us to this point where it was like, oh man, we have no money right now because we've been paying for surgeries and moving and this crazy tax bill. And
were you protected? I want to go back to the car.
Oh yeah.
Had you been in the other car that you had before the Volvo?
We would have died. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's something there.
There is.
Right?
There is like a huge, massive intervention.
Holy crap.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot more to
Because I was going to
story.
say, Volvos are pretty known for like...
safety rating.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would have been toast.
You had previously been driving this like little tiny Hyundai Sonata that's like really old and doesn't have the safety features. We could go into this story is like there's a lot of amazing miracles along the road.
I was going to say, because that's the theme I'm picking up on. Like, yeah, someone's looking out.
But we were just running to Slab. Slab is 2 miles away from my house. And so we didn't bring our phones.
Yeah, but that is like,
and
they need to put like a big, like flashing red light because college kids are so
drive,
freaking oblivious. Not just driving, but walking. Like driving through those neighborhoods over there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
They're on
you
their
got to be
phones,
on
walking
your
across-
toes.
yeah.
Like they don't feel
So
like they have to stop for
distracted.
cars. They just walk across streets.
And they'll be on their phone. They won't
crosswalks
even know
on
you're
the-
coming a lot
Yeah.
of times. And I'm just like, please, 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 just please don't text and drive. Please be safe.
Danger
Because
zone.
also one of the things that lots of miracles. One of them, we didn't have our phones when we left for Slab, but that thing that our car had this on-call system.
Oh
The
my
second we
gosh.
hit, I was like, I had hit my face. My face is bleeding. I had hit, like my leg was bleeding. My arm had been shattered and I knew it had popped out. My baby, who's 3 months old, is next to me. He's sobbing and we didn't have a way to contact anyone. So the on-call thing came on. They're like, hi, we see that you have been in an accident. Would you like us to send an ambulance? We said, yes, please. And the ambulance was filling up at the Maverick right next to the Seven Peaks. And they were there in 45 seconds. And so we had immediate attention. I mean, there's so many like really miraculous things that happened around the time of that accident. But, and then I called a friend of mine who we were meeting for pizza. I ended up getting a hold of her with someone else's phone. She showed up and she's like, here, you can have my phone. I called my mom. I was like, Mom, we've been in this accident. And she got in the car, she was on a plane, and she was at my house before we got home from the hospital. Like
Sheesh.
Wow.
my mom's amazing.
Where does she live?
In Arizona.
Okay.
So she was on a plane at my house and ready to take care of my baby before we even got home from the hospital. And I had a little brother who lives right next to Seven Peaks, and he was able to come and pick up the baby from the scene of the accident. And anyways, it was just, I mean, so crazy.
Wow.
but also like a lot of really cool things happened because of it, and a lot of really amazing blessings. Like my husband and I, we would not be working together right at this moment
Right.
if we hadn't had that experience of working together post accident. I mean, there's a lot of really cool things, but I think
College student's an idiot, but
yeah,
you got some
You know.
blessings from it too.
yeah. I mean,
How's the
Life.
Volvo?
it got totaled.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah, I mean, the force of impact knocked the wheels off of it.
But at least you
It's, like,
totaled a car worth some
damaged.
dough. So you got to get another nice car, right?
yeah, something like that.
And you were alive.
And we're alive.
So that's a bonus.
That's really
Side.
nice.
Yeah.
Side
Bonus.
note.
But I think all that
Alive.
came from you asking the question about pricing, like how I take on jobs.
Yeah.
So at that time, we would take on anything. Like you will pay us $1,000, we will do a stop motion for you.
Right.
You want to pay us $500, we will do a stop motion video for you.
Yeah.
Just because it's like we need grocery money, we need mortgage, we need to pay our mortgage. So that was like a crazy time. So as a freelancer, I give myself permission to take on jobs at any dollar amount if it's something that I want to do or something I need to do. Because that changes.
And so right now, best way for people to hire you is it finding you on social?
Just like email me, trishazemp@gmail.com.
Easy enough.
Just shoot me an email. Yeah. But I mean, we're definitely, now that we've been working together for a year and we've put in some like solid time and we've worked for some really cool clients, we're in a very comfortable place compared to where we were after our accident and
Right.
all that.
It's time for a blue check mark for you, by the way. Right? The people she's working with?
Yeah.
It's time for a blue check mark.
So we could go on for a lot more about this because this is
Right.
fascinating, but I have to learn more about Golden Coil and
Oh,
how
yeah.
that came to be.
Oh, let's
Because I am like, I told Jared, I'm like a closet planner nerd.
Uh-huh.
I love 'em
Closet? You
too.
think you're closet?
No, like physical planners. Like I have a
Oh, yeah.
stack of them in my house. Like whenever I read a book, like, oh, there's a planner. I'm like, oh, yes. And I buy it. And I've tried so many. So when Jared told me, I was like, okay, so I'm going to geek out on the planner stuff a little bit. So I want to know about
Okay.
it.
Let's do it.
So as if everything else you are doing isn't enough.
Because seriously, I feel like
Right.
we could have like 3 separate podcasts,
Right.
like accident podcast, stop motion podcast,
We haven't
Golden
even talked
Coil.
about kids camps. You got
Yeah.
kids camps blew up.
Oh,
Like,
well, we need to talk about that before we jump into
if you
Golden
want,
Coil.
we can cut this into 2 podcasts. We can do a Golden Coil podcast. You can
But-
reintroduce me, and I'll be, I'm here to talk about Golden Coil.
But we do need to talk about kid camp because that's what you do with Jared.
Yeah. So
We didn't even talk about that.
kid camps. So when I was living in Philadelphia and I was kind of like low on clients, I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to teach stop motion to kids because that's how I started. And it's such a fun creative process. So I made this stop motion camp and like, like not a lot of people came to take it.
Right.
It's online. But like I had like some amazing people take it in the beginning, but there was no traction. And I'm like, no, I really want kids to like love this and enjoy this and make videos. And I want to see what they make and all that kind of stuff. But they're just, nobody was super into it. Fast forward to 2020, there's this thing called a global pandemic that hits the United States, the world. And I decided we were on the verge of just turning off the website and just like letting everyone download the class. And I was like, you know what? Because we don't want to pay the web hosting fees and all that kind of stuff. I was like, you know what? I talked to my husband. I'm like, what if we just gave it away for free? What if we just gave it away to whoever wants it? There are so many kids right now who are like scared. They don't know what's happening.
They're stuck at home.
And parents who are scared and don't know what's happening. And there's a lot of like super stressed out kids. If we could give them like a creative outlet, something new that they can learn, something that they could make progress on and make something fun and creative and exercise those like creative juices, even at home, it might take some stress off of some like really worried parents right now, especially if these kids are like no more activities, no seeing friends. Like, let's see if we can facilitate doing something fun. And I thought 20 people would download the camp. So I gave it away for free. And I said, just like tag me in on your Instagram stories and I'll send you a code to get in for free. So there was like some like social transaction there. Sure. I didn't want to just like be like, just have it, you know? Right. So there was a little bit of a social transaction there. I was like, post about it on your stories and I will send you a code for free. And like story posting isn't like a big deal. Everyone posts stories all the time. And so I put that up and I was like, like 20 people are going to ask for the code and like share it to your social media. Cause I didn't have like a huge following. I had like 20,000 followers on Instagram that I don't have like a ton of clout. Well, I got 70,000 DMs.
Hold on. 70,000 DMs?
70,000 direct messages. I employed every single one of my siblings and their spouses and their friends to jump into my Instagram account and start sending out the code to people. Instagram flagged me and they're like, you're not allowed to send messages anymore because you've sent out 70,000 messages in 2 weeks. It was crazy. So
why not just post it at that point? Right?
Yeah.
Right?
No, we should have, but we didn't. We ended up just like honoring the process and just had like people doing it on the back end. So we have had over 20,000 families complete the class, but it was this really cool thing when like kids were stressed out during coronavirus to have this outlet, and I was receiving thousands of videos.
That's so
every
cool.
day.
Are you still doing that?
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if people wanted it, they can still.
Yeah, you can go. There's an Instagram post on my thing, and it says like Stop Motion Kids Camp, and it's an animation. If you look at it at that post, there's the instructions there, and you can share it, and I'll still give you the code for free at this moment, anyways.
That's awesome.
And so, anyways, we started getting all these kids' videos, and they are, 4-year-olds making these amazing videos. And it was like what I wanted to happen was like kids really like fall in love with the process and get creative. And, it's also it's one of these processes where it takes dedication. It's not instant gratification. And so I think that's a good thing for kids to learn as well, is like this process that you put time and energy and love into, and then the reward comes later.
Yeah.
And so anyways, amazing. But I had all these kids, like hundreds of kids, reach out and said, I want to learn how to do this with Legos. Can you teach us how to do it with Legos? And I'm like, I've never done like a professional animation with Legos. I've only ever done this as a kid. And I have like zero expertise to come at you for Legos. Like, I don't know. So I was thinking about this, and Jared Jacobs, who you guys have had on the podcast before, we had a mutual friend, and I saw that he was like on a live with that mutual friend. And I was like, you know what? I wonder if he would want to teach a Lego class. And so I just like on an Instagram live that he was on one day with like a mutual friend of ours was like, hey dude, on the live, want to teach a Lego class for kids? And on the live, he's like, yes, Trish, let's do it. And I was like, all right. So
you guys didn't know each other before that?
We didn't know each other. So we just start like messaging and emailing each other. And then a couple weeks later, he was down here in Utah and we filmed a Lego class. And so
I love that that's how he works.
The Canadian tornado was introduced.
Which I'm
home.
Also Canadian.
Are you serious?
You are?
I am serious. He came to my house and he's like, I'm from Canada. I'm like, me too.
Oh my gosh.
We are just a couple of minutes away
through
from
Arizona too. There's so many Canadians in Arizona. They want that heat.
Oh man. My parents
Where in
love
Canada did you grow up?
Cardston, Alberta.
No way.
Yeah.
Are there quite a few LDS people in Cardston,
Oh
Alberta?
yeah, like
That's like
more
the Mormon
populous
spot.
than like Provo. Like there's
Wow.
more Mormons per capita in Cardston than there are.
I can't
Provo,
believe.
Utah.
So I grew up playing hockey ever since I was little,
Oh yeah.
and I've never been to Canada.
Well,
And my grandma's from Canada.
You need to go.
Well, they won't let us in now,
You need to go.
Border is closed.
Another time.
but not the other direction. We need to start talking about that. I'm like, keep the Canadians out until they let us in. Shut it down.
That's a good idea.
Jeez.
So you and Jared got together then, and
Yeah.
you created a Lego Kids Camp.
Yeah, a Lego camp for kids teaching stop motion, specifically with Legos, minifigures, and bricks and stuff. And it's so fun.
I'm happy you did that because Jared would never ever do it on his own. I was actually talking to him about that. I'm like, dude, you are not organized enough. He's like, yeah, I would have never been able to do this. So I'm really happy that Trish reached out to me that we could do this together.
Well, I'm grateful for Jared for taking the time to like put all that energy into this, because the kids so far that have taken this class, they love it.
Oh,
And it's
for
like
sure.
the perfect like Christmas gift. If you're giving Legos anyways, like give them something that can get more life out of their Legos. Cause like
Right.
Legos, you build it, that's cool. It goes in the Lego bucket. And then maybe you pull that Lego bucket out like twice a month to just like fiddle around. But if you're giving like Lego for Christmas, add on the stop motion camp, and then kids can animate them and like get more time and use out of their Legos. So
sure.
I think it's so fun. And Jared also, like, I come at stop motion from a very feminine perspective, and I've never really done animation with like a guy before. And so like having the younger boys that are taking these stop motion classes have a more masculine approach to like
We'll do the
like,
sports things.
yeah,
And
we did basketball, like how to make them jump in basketball. We did how to make announcers talk. We did how to do golf. We did, all these more sports related things where like my initial camp was like, we're going to make a Play-Doh cloud and it's going to rain rainbows. Oh man. So
Here's how to yell at your husband in stop motion. Lego. See, and that adds a whole different element. Did he follow you before? Like him being a stop motion guy? Because you're kind of the OG, right? So he knew you. So
Yes.
of course he's just like, yes,
Yeah.
I'll do it.
I don't know if that's
Wow.
true. He's got way more online clout than I do.
I don't know. Well, and it is funny because it does add a whole. I'm watching these right now, and just the little previews that you have, and I mean, doing stop motion is one thing, but doing it with Lego has got to make it even more tedious, right?
It is. I mean, it's tedious. He does such a good job, but I love the way that he approaches teaching kids, because Jared and the way he told me that he likes to animate 8 frames per second, which means in 8 pictures you have a whole second of animation.
Right.
And for kids, and he said, do it at 6 if you want. For kids, that's really, really achievable.
What is yours?
Oh, I normally am like
47.
15 frames a second. So like double the amount of frames for the same amount of time.
Wow. Okay.
Or sometimes like 24 if you're creating something super cinematic, but a lot of times my sweet spot is like 12 to 15. But like being able to tell kids like, this is how Jared does it, and you can do this at 6 frames, you can do this at 8 frames. It makes it really achievable for kids to get some really fun results. And he teaches them some hacks too to take some shortcuts, so you can create really cool animations with Legos. And I should show you this. We just got this kid who sent us a Star Wars. He recreated the scene from like the ending scene from Star Wars where like Anakin has like the lava,
gosh.
the lava like on him, and he's like losing his limbs and he's like
Holy
fighting.
crap.
So they have this like lightsaber fight, him and Obi-Wan, I think.
Yeah.
And then he's like cutting off limbs and Anakin's like covered in lava, and it was like cinematic brilliance from like an
Unbelievable.
8-year-old. And I was like, I bow to you, because this is so cool.
I'm gonna have Dodger do. I feel like Dodger would be into this.
Oh, for
Like,
sure.
he would be.
What a
way
cool
into
outlet.
it. Yep. We need some damn outlets too right now. I'm about ready to kill some kids. I can't believe my wife's even like sane right now. Like they are so damn bored. Oh,
Well,
Lego time.
you got all the codes you want. You just
you're
download
so
it on
nice.
every device, and you teach those kids Lego
Oh my
animation. They'll have
gosh.
so much fun. It really is a
Well, I'll
blast.
teach your stop motion barbecue class whenever you're ready.
Is that real offer? Because that would be awesome.
That would be kind of cool. I bet it would work.
That would be
right?
such a cool little clip, like to do like your
Like how to
barbecue stop
season
motion.
something or
Oh man.
interesting. Yeah.
Let's
I'll
do
do
it. Series
For
of
codes.
informational YouTube clips about barbecue that we just teach via stop motion.
That
I'm
would
in.
be really cool.
It would be so cool. And also my husband would be like, I'm there. My husband is like the best. He loves cooking. He's a really great cook. But yeah,
Better be a PhD.
he's
He's
pretty.
got the mind for it. He's got the mind to be a chef.
Here's the thing though.
Barbecue might be too simple for him.
Well, barbecue takes so much patience.
It-
We bought a smoker and we ended up selling our smoker.
Oh,
'Cause
really?
We're like, we do not live the
It
smoking
takes too
life.
long.
It's
Was it a pellet
lifestyle.
smoker?
It was a Traeger.
Yeah.
So yeah, pellet smoker.
You don't need to do anything with those.
it's
Just
a-
throw it on and forget it.
I know, but it takes forethought.
Well, yeah.
I'm like an
it
instant
does.
gratification person where I'm like, just grill me a steak. I'm
Says
hungry.
the stop motion 40
I
hours
know.
for 15
Isn't that
second
so
burst.
funny?
Well, I truly think smoking is like a lifestyle. Like it
is,
takes
like-
planning and time and forethought.
Well, but-
and we will have another smoker when we have patio space. Like we just live.
Yeah, there you
we
go.
we don't have a ton of space, so it's like we
Sure.
could have a grill or a smoker. So
See, I always tell people I'm good at barbecue because I'm easily distracted.
that's nice.
Because a lot of people ruin barbecue because they want to play with it all the time. They
Yeah.
want to open it up and they want to
Check on it. Yeah.
Honestly, like the best thing you can do is throw it on there and just
Forget about it.
go do your thing. Like,
Yeah.
Just leave it alone.
Come back.
Everybody's
stoke
all
the
like, do
fire.
you smoke? Andrew's like, no, I have cam.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have your people, right? We
Yeah.
need to have expert friends. We all need to be good at something.
Definitely.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's true. It's probably the same way you look at stop motion. Like, you don't look at it as tedious and patient. And I mean, it's the same thing for me. Like, I always look at it like, well, it's because I have ADD that I'm good at
But
it.
it's
Like, I
also
don't.
part of your lifestyle. Like
But
you,
yeah, it
you
is.
know, like you know all the things.
It's true.
I think smoking and having that talent is amazing
Oh, it's
because
nice of you to
it's
say.
a really cool. I think.
When I teach people, that's where you can kind of see it. Like, yeah, you do kind of have it or you don't type of thing. Anybody can learn to do it for sure.
Yes.
But
So I had an idea. We should do a giveaway of the Lego course
We'd love
this
to.
week when the podcast comes out.
Yeah. Let's
that
do it.
would be very cool.
Let's
We
do it, you
should do
guys.
that.
We can do giveaway however many codes you want. We can also do like a discount code for your listeners if they want it. Like
love it.
like 30% off code all caps nitty gritty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make
This
that.
is going to be a popular one.
Yeah.
'Cause we do
I'll make
codes
that
with a lot
tonight.
of our guests,
Yeah.
but this one I can see because we have a lot of female listeners, like a lot of moms.
Oh, awesome.
Everyone's
And I think
wanting
this would be
a
an
Christmas present
awesome
for a
Christmas
kid.
present for the kids.
Well, I'll
Yes.
go make the code tonight. All caps, nitty gritty.
Okay,
And you can
nitty-gritty.
get 30% off the camp.
Okay.
And we'll do a giveaway too. Whatever you guys want. Have as many codes as you want. Give it all away.
You see Jared's hat? Jared made me that hat with
Up on
up
top.
on the top.
Sweet.
Isn't that crazy? Like that's a brick.
He had,
Him
like,
and Bricks and Mini
Bam
Bricks did
Bam's
that for
printed
me.
on the shirt.
That is so cool.
It was awesome. So yeah.
It
Okay.
does say
Impressed
Bam
with that.
Bams. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Jared has all the hookups.
He does. I was pretty excited about it. They gave it to me at the BYU football game, and I'm like, how am I supposed to carry this home? Like, it's
It's a
fragile.
masterpiece.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway.
so cool.
Yeah, pretty neat.
Well, I meant to bring you guys planners and stuff, but we're selling out. We have no inventory
I was gonna
right
say
now.
I'm getting my GM. So let's transition
Okay,
into that.
planners.
Okay.
Because the planner thing is, I kind of when we were first starting, I was kind of going through the designing. That's what I was doing on my laptop right
Oh,
here.
I've gone down the rabbit hole of trying
Oh
to
my
design
gosh.
one. I'm like,
My GM Annie's gonna freak because she is still like she has to have her book,
Yeah.
right? Oh, she is gonna love this thing.
They are amazing.
okay, how did this come to be? It couldn't be further away from stop motion.
Well, I guess so. When I was doing school, I didn't have an effective planning solution. I would hand bind my own kind of like planners and notebooks.
Hold on.
course
You would
you did.
hand, you
Of
would
course you
hand
did.
bind. What does that even mean?
Well, I mean, so I actually took a bookbinding class at BYU, and I learned how to hand bind. But I also would sometimes I would just like create the layout that I wanted. I would add in some storyboard pages. I'd add in some blank pages. I'd add in some to-do list pages, and I just like take it to Staples, and I'd be like, "Can you put a coil on this thing?" You know. And so I kind of like created my own hack job solution to help me because the way I was doing school and like clients and all this stuff wasn't. I could just go buy a planner from Staples and it worked for me. I kind of created my own little hack job solution and that was fine. And I just have all these like really random handmade planners. And I know that there were actually a lot of people doing that because I'd have some friends that were like, yeah, I just make my planners too because there's just nothing that works for me. And anyway, so my sister, she's like opposite spectrum. She was a dance major. Everything in her life was appointment based. Like, this is when I have this class. I have this class, I teach at this time. And it was just, she had this insane schedule. Just like every 30-minute was like blocked out with what she had to do during the day. And mine was just like, complete these projects. You know, like there was no like timestamp on anything.
Your
it
prop
was
shopping list.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so we planned so differently. And so my parents, they moved from Canada to Arizona while we were in college. And we wanted to get a present for my mom for Mother's Day. And at this point, she, my mom had 7 kids and she taught us organization and planning. We had this color coded calendar. I was purple, Michelle was yellow, Emily was pink. Like I can see it in my brain, and it was like dance and piano and soccer, like all those things on this giant calendar, and the 7 kids are color coded. And in moving to Arizona, she now only had 3 kids at home. And we're like, she needs something, but doesn't need that same system anymore. So we're like, let's get her a planner for Mother's Day. So my sister and I, we got in the car, we headed to Salt Lake, and we hit up like every store we could think of. And we looked online. We were driving home from like the paper store up in like Murray, and we were like, okay, there's got to be a solution. Firstly, we couldn't agree on what kind of planner my mom needed. I'm like, she doesn't have tons of stuff going on. We should probably need something that's more project-based, more to-do lists, more space for like meal planning and stuff. And my sister's like, but she still has to like pick up kids from school and get them to dance. So she probably needs more time tracking. And we like couldn't agree on like, what is the most ideal planner for our mom? And I'm like, there's got to be a solution for this. So we looked online. There's got to be a custom solution. The other problem we ran into was it's May. Calendars, like planner started in January, or they're going to start academic calendar year. So either we're going to give her a planner she's like tear out all the front pages on, or we're going to give her a planner that's going to sit in her closet until it's time to use it, if she remembers we gave it to her.
Yeah.
Right. And so we were like, there's got to be a way that we can go online and we can just choose a start date and choose an end date. And so we looked, and there was nothing. There's nothing online where we could customize what we wanted. And the other big thing I thought was a problem every time we go to buy a planner is, oh, I love this layout, but I love that cover. And it was never like, I love the layout and the cover, this is the perfect planner for me. Like it was always, you were always giving up something so that you could have. I always wanted, like, the layout was always most important. If I could get the right layout, then at least it would be functional in my life. But there was never, you could get all the things and have it start when you want and have it end when you want. And so
why not an at like, why was it paper that was so important to you? Because at this time, I mean, there's
digital
a million apps, right?
Yeah. I don't know. There's just something about writing it down on paper.
There's so many people that still do that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
so what's funny, I love paper planners.
Really? Do you use them?
Uh-huh. So like I'm digital everything, but I love the act.
Yeah.
And there's actually a lot of science behind it on why you still use paper. Like the most highly productive people in the world still use paper planners.
Huh.
This is fact.
I don't doubt that.
Buy paper planners.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could nerd out on this.
I was going to say.
Also planners.
So why do you still do it in there?
Planners
I
like
have
digital.
both, because I want a digital so it's convenient, so I can see.
Right.
More than anything, it's calendaring is the main digital asset. But like for planners and other kinds of things.
Dreaming. It's goals.
Interesting.
It's like so planners.
The physical act of writing, like the pen to paper, that physical act.
See, reading, I feel like, is kind of that way. Like, I only listen to books too, but when I do occasionally read one, I remember so much more.
Yeah.
Like, and it's probably
I had a friend
something similar
who recently talked to me about how she uses her digital planner for scheduling, and she puts her schedule into her paper planner as well.
Right.
But the paper planner is more an avenue for like dreams, goals, list, like things that are a little bit more than. You got to be at Bam Zams at 11 o'clock on the pod, to record a podcast. It's
so
more than
that. Work together.
Well, if you're ever trying to change or learn a behavior, you have to disrupt the thought pattern which the writing does.
Well, everyone knows that.
Opposed to just
kidding.
Online and digital.
Interesting.
And, I believe in writing. I wrote down, hey, I want to work for Bath & Body Works. And 3 weeks later, I had a thing from Bath & Body Works saying, please work for us. And I went,
oh
yes.
my gosh.
I may or may not have like my planner wish list on my iPad, like of all these checkbox. Like if I would create one,
really?
These are the pages I would have. This is the functionality, like types of folder, coil or non. Like, yeah.
Andrew's a real nerd. I didn't know about all this stuff.
I like it. I need to see that
too.
list.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. He's such a smart guy, but Interesting.
Yeah. It's
I just
crazy.
feel so worthless when I talk about this stuff with people because there's no planning that sound like, unless you send it to me and it's in the calendar for me. Like I never write things down in the calendar ever.
Well, I can't barbecue. To each their own. We all have our own strengths.
But maybe I'll use it because these are cool.
They're really cool.
Because if I was to plan, I could see me doing this before using apps and stuff.
Yeah.
Holy
I
crap.
love it because I can open up my planner and show you, but my day is not time based. It is just like I have 3 massive to-do lists. One is for Golden Coil, one is for my stop motion stuff, and the other one's for like all the life things that I need to do.
Right,
you know,
right.
like I need to like car insurance and you know that kind of stuff. So
So you went from looking for a gift to your mom.
yeah.
So then you guys realized, okay, that's not out there.
Yes. And so we're like, we could do this. We could totally do this. And so we started researching what would it take. And we put out like all of our wish list kind of down on paper and thought, okay, how do we make this happen? And we started reaching out to printers saying, this is what we want to do. We got our first quote back to print, bind, ship, and fulfill, like drop ship a planner custom, one off, would cost us $284.
Whoa.
And we were like, and that's like not even us making a profit. That's just like,
Franklin Covey money, like back when those things were a big deal. Like people would drop some money on those, but
yeah.
not that much.
And so we were like, well, that's not possible. So we did like 3 years of serious research. We reached out to every printer. We're like, okay, maybe big printers would be better. No. Maybe small mom and pop shop printers would be better. No. Maybe medium-sized printers would be better. Like we just reached out to everyone. I think we reached out to over 200 something printers saying, can you do this for us? And eventually through some contacts, we found a printer and they gave us a price that we're like, okay, we can run with that. Like that's okay enough that we can put a little bit of profit margin over top of that and we can sell a product and it's going to be expensive. But a lot of that too is quality. Like we didn't want to give you a custom planner that was going to come with a laminated cover and a plastic coil. If you're going to put the time into like dreaming and coming up with a perfect planner for yourself, it needs to come and it needs to be a beautiful experience. I'm just like a huge paper lover and quality stickler. And so I'm like, it has to be quality. So by the time we had the quality plus all the, like a human being has to like print it, coil it, punch it, put the covers on. Like by the time we get all that done, it was still like a big price tag. So our planners are more expensive, but it's because there's a lot that goes into making them. Sure. And they're also, I would say though, invaluable as a tool in your life. So anyways, we found a printer who could do it at a good price. And then we needed to find developers. So we went to this developer up in Salt Lake and they were like, it's going to cost you $1 million to make the application. And we're like, we don't have $1 million.
So just so people know, talking about, because when you go on, there's different sections and you get to customize the layout. I mean, we were joking like, it's a calendar. Well, do I want a 1-page calendar, a 2-page calendar, a weekly calendar, a
daily
monthly calendar, a daily calendar, a bullet point calendar? It's just like
and our app you can start whatever day you want. So you choose your start date, you choose your end date, but also you can upload your contacts like from your phone to print into your address book. Because like one of the most tedious things every time you get a new planner is like, oh, let me fill in my address book. So if you want to, you can do that. But a lot of people have it digitally. So now you have the option to not put in an address book and like not waste those pieces of paper.
Sure.
And so you can do that, but you can also upload your calendar events. So if you have like family birthday calendar, or if you have like specific things that, happen throughout the year, you can print that and it will show up on your day and it'll show up on your month. So it's kind of this really cool way of like hybrid planning where you have this digital aspect, but you also get it in paper form, which I think is really cool.
I'm really excited about this.
I just want the masters in a certain color, like with that date showing.
The masters.
Yeah, I want like glitter, green.
So
Wow.
Sorry,
So,
we
like-
don't have glitter or green.
Dang it, this sucks. I don't want
You'll
it.
just have to use your own glitter.
Yeah, we're gonna start evergreen planners,
You should.
right? And it starts on the date of the Masters, ends
On the day of the
on
masters.
the day of the Masters.
It's a week.
Yeah.
Just a
No,
week-long
then
planner,
sorry.
and every day is
it
filled
starts
with-
from the Masters this year, goes to the Masters next year, and then people could do Super Bowl to Super Bowl,
Ah, I like it.
right?
This
It's
is
a
a great
masculine
business
version. Yeah. Sweet. I'll sell you my idea
Thank you.
for one planner. I want a Golden Coil planner.
All right, sounds good. It's
Deal.
done. That would actually be hysterical though, because you can add preloaded events. Maybe we should
Right.
add like the dude planner event.
That's
where
what
it's,
I'm
like,
saying.
All of the
You need to
sports
sell
things.
a
Gosh,
jazz
that would
one with
be-
like all of the games preloaded.
That would. Oh, if
Oh,
you
your
put this
sports
year's
team, then you
schedule.
could license like their sports on the front.
You guys, my dad is huge into sports.
Oh, that
he
would
has
be
brought these
so
things to our
cool.
attention multiple times.
Oh my gosh. Because
but-
schedules are usually done, at least a year or two in advance, right?
Pre-COVID. Yeah.
Pre-COVID, yeah.
Well, I guess that's true. Yeah,
But yeah,
I dig it.
lots of cool
I like it.
things.
But you can upload a CSV. So
Okay.
what we could do is just create like a big blog post that's like, here are all the sports teams and their calendars. Download this and then just
Right.
put it in your planner.
Uh-huh.
That way it doesn't have to like live on the app.
For sure.
Because I'll be honest with you, there's not a lot of dudes that buy our planners. We do have some like super diehard dudes that buy our planners and like love them, but mostly it's women.
Right.
And that's
We
kind
can
of who,
change that.
We're
that's
gonna
kind of who
change
we
it.
cater to.
Yeah.
Even though our audience is 85% women.
Yeah. Well, they have dudes in their life.
I think it's really funny that your guys' podcast
Isn't that so funny?
85% women.
Especially like when you walk in here too.
Yeah. You
yeah,
walk in,
it's like
there's,
the most
jerseys
masculine
on the wall.
office ever.
Barbecue restaurant.
Who was taking pictures of it because they're like, we're doing this design thing and we need it to have a background of like a man's office.
Oh, yeah.
And they like took pictures of this, like
I like it.
Who was that?
all the sports stuff. It was Kristen Hodson, wasn't that? She was doing.
I think
that?
it was.
The
I
sex
think it
therapist.
was. Yeah, I think it was Kristen.
Yep.
So
I find
Anyways.
the
It is a
background
very
of this place
manly
very
office.
sexy. It right? I got beans over there. Clorox wipes. Jersey's not hung up.
Gnomes.
Yeah. Oh, my master. I just got
the
my
Christmas
master's
one,
gnome.
I was noticed
I
that
like
today.
it.
That is
Is this your
so
holiday
cool.
decor every holiday
No,
season?
so the Masters, the golf tournament this year for the first time ever, right? It's been going since the end of World War II. They had to cancel the normal date. It's generally in April,
Yeah.
and they did it in November. So their gnome, they do a gnome every year. Their gnome this year was Santa, and you'll never see that again, probably.
That's incredible.
So yeah, so
That's
those are
incredible.
the other two Masters tournaments I've been to: 18, 19, and then Santa's the 2020 because it was
Nice.
just last month. So yeah, kind of cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah. So no, he's staying up.
I like it.
He's not going anywhere. Anyway,
That is so cool.
So now, like with Golden Coil, do you ever like partner with companies and white label stuff, or is it always just yours?
It's always just ours. We've had a lot of people approach us to do that, but we just don't have the like employee bandwidth to handle white labeling.
Okay.
And, so right now it is just direct to consumer through our website. Yeah.
Okay.
That's just like how we keep everything really streamlined.
Like, do you continue to like evolve like pages and design? Like, are you
Yeah.
always doing that?
Yeah. So we always launch about 10 new layouts every fall.
Okay.
And then we always add more to the covers and stuff. And we're going to be going into a big dev sprint this coming year. We're going to add a lot of new like development features to the ability to like make your planner.
Gotcha.
Just make everything a lot more streamlined. We like the process to be well designed and easy, but that's really hard when you're talking about like very particular calendar things. So it's like, how do you match like good user experience and a ton of capabilities? Because we get questions all the time of like, can you do this in your planner? And it's like, that really would cost us $1 million in development to like add that to your planner. So there's like some things we can do, but we can't necessarily just like build Photoshop
right.
in our app kind of thing. Because that's basically when we approached the first developer we asked, that's basically, he's like, so basically you want Photoshop on the web. And we're like, is that possible? And he's like, for $1 million, it's possible. And we're like, we're not ever going to have $1 million. So anyway, so we ended up finding a development group based in Provo.
Okay.
Verdad Tech. And Bryce Brownlow, he's the guy that runs Verdad Tech, and he's awesome because he sat me down in his office and was like, all right, well, let's take your big wish list and let's pare it down and let's figure out like what can we offer first as like a trial and error process of like, what do your customers really want? Do they just want custom fonts? Or do they want, and so we like went through this process and we kind of like brought it down to, we can offer this and then we can grow from here. And so, there's some more growth that we want to do, but I like super love where our app and stuff is at.
Cool.
So TikTok.
Yeah. So we've been running our planner company for 3 years now. And I mean, we have been growing phenomenally each year.
Yeah.
We just had our big Black Friday sale and it was awesome. And then out of nowhere, this girl who is now a friend, her name is Sarah. She posted this TikTok video. I could also recite it to you because I've watched it. So I'm a million of the views it has. No. So it's this TikTok video. This girl, and she goes, I know that many of you don't know about this thing, and the new year starts in a month. So I thought I would show you. It's called Golden Coil. She goes in and she talks about our planners. And so Michelle and I have talked about getting onto TikTok so many times because it's just this explosive platform right now. But we're like, are our people on TikTok? Is it just like teenagers that are dancing? Like
A lot of skanks.
how do
Yeah.
you get served the kind of things you interact with?
Oh, really? Is that it?
So if you have a lot
I
of
do like
skanks on your
skanks.
feed,
I just
then
so I
that
didn't know
says
that.
something about
So it's like the
you.
secret. It's like the secret.
Oh,
I
that
was
was
teasing.
really funny.
I think it was.
Oh
great.
my gosh, that was funny.
Who doesn't like a nice skank? You know. Just kidding.
Oh man, like mine, I get a lot of like business stuff. Like, here are 3 things to do
Wait,
to
do you
uplevel your
really?
business. Yeah.
It's
all
the
time.
algorithm, dog. It's the social limit. It's going to feed you.
It's gonna feed you what you attract
Well,
with.
I don't.
Do you
I'm never even on TikTok. I just
Well,
know
initially,
how
it's gonna
a
feed
lot
you-
of my daughter's friends like
Dance
post it.
and
Yes.
yeah.
You're
You're
like,
like, I'm doing the reggae.
oh my gosh. Well, that's not the dancing that I was seeing. Anyway,
But yeah, so we didn't know if our audience was there. We're like, is it just a bunch of teenagers? We're like, we put so much time and effort into how we create content for social media. You know, like we have a blog manager who creates 2 blog posts a week, and that blog content is put on stories, and then it's repurposed for Pinterest, and then, you know, like we just put so much energy. And I really feel like any e-commerce business right now is just
must.
a content making machine. Like you just have to make content.
so what is it on TikTok? Like, is it everything? Like age group wise? Like,
Yeah, well, I mean,
'Cause
TikTok has everyone. TikTok
it's
has
everyone.
It just has, and especially like due to COVID, a lot of people joined over because it's this incredibly entertaining
I
platform.
will say the few times that I've opened it, because I have it just because my friend will send me
yeah,
like links.
yeah,
And then I get stuck for like 30 minutes every time. 'Cause
Yeah.
There are
It's
some
so-
extremely clever.
Oh,
Yeah.
people are
Funny things
so
on there.
funny. People are,
But
so
I thought
funny.
it was I thought it'd be like Snapchat. Like I thought it would be younger, but you're saying it's kind of
There's
everybody at this
kind
point.
of everyone. And so this girl Sarah posts this.
Was she like huge?
No, nope, not big at all.
That's
Okay.
the other weird thing about
Like-
TikTok. Like my best friend Andrew has like a few hundred followers, but he has a few videos that have over 1 million views.
Yeah,
For real?
TikTok. The
Yeah.
TikTok math works differently than other platforms. So like on Instagram, it's like, oh, we have 60,000 followers and our videos get 2,000 views, right?
Yeah.
Right.
On TikTok, so Sarah posts this video. It gets, right now it has like 3.6 million views.
About a planner. on
About
TikTok.
a custom planner. Last I checked, and this was like a week ago, it had 400 and something. No, it 42,000 shares, where like 40,000 people like texted it to a friend, sent it to a friend on TikTok, you know, something like that. 40,000 people shared it. And also our website is not mobile compatible because of the app that you have to build your planner on.
Yeah.
And so all these people are interacting with our mobile site and then going to a desktop site and building planners, which is really cool. But anyway, so this girl
Dang.
posts this video on TikTok and we're like, we're joining TikTok. So we made a TikTok, we duetted her and we were like, have you seen this video? This video just broke our website. And we talked about, because my sister and I, it was on Black Friday. No, she posted this on Saturday. Sarah posted her video on Saturday. And we're like looking, my husband was like doing some stuff on the website. And he's like, your website doesn't work. He's like, I can't get anything to load. What is going on? And I'm like, I don't know. So I call my sister and I'm like, are you having problems with the website or is my internet just crap? Because my internet is crap.
Right.
My sister's like, yeah, it's not loading for me either. And she's like, well, let me see what's going on the back end of our site. And then she's like, holy crap, Trisha, there are 900 people on our site making a planner at this moment. And I was like,
Oh
what?
my
Which
gosh.
normally, like on a sale day, just like for perspective, we usually have like 200 people on the site making a planner. And she's like, there are 900 people on our site right now. Oh, now there's 1,000. Oh, now there's, and it just like was crazy. And so we were like, we like called up our developers and we're like, guys, we need you to fix the site right now. We need more bandwidth. We need, all this kind of stuff. There's like the site's not working because there's so many people on our site, and it blew up.
Did it translate into sales? Like how many of those?
It definitely did.
Yeah. Cheddar.
No, I mean, see, one of the things I've always believed about Golden Coil is like, it's such a cool product and it's such a cool, just like idea that if more people knew about us, everyone would have a Golden Coil planner.
Right.
If you're a planner person, like it's like the perfect planner. And there's
What?
nothing to rival it. Like in my mind, it is the best planner in the entire universe. And so
The
like if
body
more
language,
people,
you need to watch YouTube for that part, listeners. There was a lot of excitement in that body language right there. Like
But
she really believes that, and I love it.
I do. It's because I've had probably
Right.
every single planner throughout. Like I've tried everything.
So how many people buy two? Like how many people
lot.
come back? Because I
loads
could see
of
me
people.
doing that, like loving it, and then I don't like, because I'm just like that. Like the idea of having the planner is so cool,
Yeah.
but then I would probably fizzle out on it
Yeah.
because I don't follow through with anything. But do most people, do you see a lot of return
Yeah.
customers? That's awesome.
Yes. And the
I
stats.
love old school things that are still thriving.
The stats
Well,
are really hard to
love it.
track on that because a lot of people will purchase planners quarterly, or they'll purchase them twice a year, or things like that. So it's really hard to actually track the statistic of how many people come back per calendar
Right.
year, but it is significant. We
So
have
can you
a lot of return.
Can you save your layout? Like
No, you have to go and remake it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's something we wanted to do from the beginning, but like having user logins and all that stuff just like makes it
I guess it's good
really
for, like
intense.
selling them new stuff too, like
Yeah.
making them kind of go through that because it was easy. I mean, it's
easy.
really easy. I
And,
just
and we
went
launch
through it.
new layouts
Really
and stuff
cool
every single time that it's always worth it.
to go back.
And-
You want them to see the new stuff.
Yes, but also like your life isn't the same year after year.
That's
you
very
know?
true,
Yeah.
too.
And so and I have had a lot of these planners. I go through them every 6 months, and they have never been the same planner to planner. It always changes. I once did it so that I had brain dump pages every single week, and then I realized, I don't like chopping up my weeks between brain dump pages. So instead, I'm going to put them all at the beginning of the month, and now I have a section of pages per month that I can use to just like download everything in my brain, and so my planner is different every 6 months, and it's just like I'm getting closer and closer to like that perfect thing to work for me, but I don't know if that's even attainable because next year my life will look different because instead of having a 2.5-year-old, I'm going to have a 3.5-year-old. Like your life
Totally true.
your
almost
life
want
changes
to
every
change them
time.
every year,
Yeah.
I'm sure, because
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure as you go through it.
And you have different goals every year. Like within our planner, you can put in recipe pages, meal planning pages, like health tracking, wellness, mood tracking. Like you could do so many things that, one year you might have a goal, like a health goal, and you're like, I really want to practice wellness this year, and I want to be more mindful. I want to be more intentional. And I'm going to put these wellness pages in my planner aspirationally so that I'm accountable to filling them out. Right. And so that might be what you want one year, and the next year might go, actually, my family really needs me to be more on top of meal planning this year. I was so focused on wellness last year that I didn't feed my kids more than
Right.
macaroni and cheese, which is
Right.
all my child eats.
Right. That's all they will eat.
But you might go, you know what? I want 6 meal planning pages at the beginning. I'm going to create 6 meal plans, and I'm just going to go back to I'm just going to choose a different meal plan every week, and
Right.
that's how I'm going to meal plan for my family. So it's our goals change. And
sure.
we change and our families change, that our planners should have that ability to change with us because we're never the same. And my layout changes. I don't even use the same layout every time. I change layouts all the time.
What about like models with inspirational quotes? Can we do that like on Monday morning?
Have you not?
Male models, of course, everybody.
Have you not seen? We have inspirational quotes in our planners. If you want.
Really? With
So,
models?
At the no. So
I'm
at
just
the
kidding.
end. So
You're an idiot.
we definitely. What's
I'm
that?
talking for you ladies. I'm talking about like just Channing Tatum.
For sure.
Saying
We need
something
Channing
like,
quotes.
go get him, girl. Right? And his magic might get up.
Love
Yeah.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah, who doesn't? He can Channing my Tatum anytime.
But no, so you have the ability to add quotes into your planner. You can choose like motivational, inspirational, productivity, pop culture, which has like some Beyonce quotes and like,
Right.
you know, that kind of stuff. And then we also have like literary quote pack. My favorite is the literary one. It's like this one, I'm showing you, this one's like from Peter Pan. It's like, the moment you doubt whether you can fly, you cease forever to be able to do it.
That's so cool.
So
actually.
you have the ability to put those in. So quotes, but we also have challenge packets too. So they print on every weekday. So this one here is from Harry Potter. It says it's our choices that show us what we truly are, far more than our abilities. You know, so we have these inspirational quotes that you can put in. Also, you don't have to.
How
Like,
fun is
if
that?
you're not,
Like, building these things would be.
it's fun.
I wonder how many people make like 3 in a year. Like, oh, you know what? I forgot this. I'm getting another one.
We have a friend of ours who she's a friend now. We didn't know her before Golden Coil. She has made 20 planners in the last 18 months.
I can totally see it being addicting.
It is
for
it is
sure.
addicting. And I'm like,
Like getting the
I'm
perfect
like,
one.
I'm like, Lauren, we need to have a chat. I don't know if you actually need this many planners.
Like, we better start
please
a rewards
keep-
program
please
for her, like a
please keep
punch
buying
pass.
them. No, we do.
Yeah,
I
buy
mean,
10, get one free.
we've sent her a couple free planners just because I'm like, girl, you are our best customer,
is
and you've
so
only
cool.
known about us for 18 months.
Wow.
And you have an addiction, my friend. Like, let's send you some pens. Let's send
Did
you
you
some
send
more
the
planners.
TikToker some planners?
We did.
Very
We gave her
cool.
some coats for planners. We sent her a ton of swag, and we also outpaid her because we were like, you know what? We've worked with influencers that we've paid, and they have not driven this kind of
How
results.
cool.
We
she
would
did it
like
'cause
we
she
would
loved
like
it, not-
she did it because she loved it. There was like no, and she's like
Yeah.
the kindest human being. There's
Aw,
like
that's
there's nothing on her end being like,
cool
I
story.
expect this, but we were just like, girl, you've done so much for us. We just want to send this like monetary gift as a thank you.
No wonder
because-
you win cars.
No, like this girl,
Like, that's awesome.
Sarah's amazing. But yeah, anyways, you can also put challenge packets too. And so
So what are challenge packets?
instead of doing a quote, you could put like a challenge. Like it could be like, so we have a challenges and we have a self-care. So self-care is just like take some time, light a candle, meditate, you know, like,
Right,
you know,
right.
those kind of things.
Put
But
deodorant
challenge,
on today.
the
Don't
challenge
forget.
packet is like, write your grandparents a letter and send it in the mail. And you have one of those
It's like
every
little
week.
prompts.
Yeah, it's like, you know, like
Huh.
pay for the drink for the person behind you in line. Like those kind of like prompts of different.
Do they know what those are, or they just pick the
They're
challenge pack
random.
and you guys come up?
Yeah,
with-
they're random.
That-
but
I'm down with that.
but
Yeah, that's
you
cool.
can see what's coming in your planner. So at the very end, after you make your planner, there's a preview. So you can see what it's going to be. It's not like
Right.
you have no clue what we're going to
Sure,
send you. Like you
sure.
can then preview your planner. If you don't like the challenges, you can go back, refresh, and it'll re-upload new challenges.
Interesting.
So, but it's random every
Okay.
time. So I love the literary quote pack so much. I have put it in the last 4 of my planners.
Right.
And I'm not stopping.
Can
like
you do both?
I love it.
Can you pick like
No,
2
you
packs?
can only do one.
Okay.
Yeah. So literary quote pack is my go-to right now because I love turning the page and seeing a Harry Potter quote. I love turning
That'd
the
be
page and seeing a
hard
Lord
to
of the
choose
Rings
from,
quote.
right?
Hence the 20 planners in
Could
18
you do
months.
like every other? Like, could you do 2 and do like every other week, like a challenge one week, a
No.
quote the next?
You can only do
Gosh,
challenges.
damn it!
I know we got to figure that out. I can make a mixtape version where
See,
it's like
that would be kind of cool. Is if you could,
challenge one day.
you
quote
should just do
another.
like, I'm sure the developers could come up with like just
Oh
do
no, we
a
could do that on
shuffleboard.
our end. We could do that on our end. We don't even need the developers for that. We have the ability to add events.
Oh,
They
that's
just
cool.
well, they recently gave us that ability because they were getting annoyed with us being like, "Could you add this? Could you also add this?" And they're like, "You know, we'll just build it into your platform, add it yourself." And we're like,
Wow.
"Thank you."
See, that would be cool if you did like a literary quote challenge. Like it just kind of.
Just
Me and Trisha are going to get together and we're going to come up with our own planner.
yeah.
I love it.
I'm in. I'm so in. we probably need a lot more like layouts and templates that serve the male population.
Let us help with just the male one.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I
Like
mean,
just-
we're game. We have not really tapped into any male-oriented planners. I mean, we market to women. I mean, we have cool planners that we have some guys that love them, like like the
Right.
midnight linen or the onyx leather. Like there are
I was
some
gonna say we could do
cool.
basketball leather.
Well, they have like
Hockey
the
ball.
saddle.
That would be
leather. Yeah.
awesome.
Be awesome.
We've even debated on just like cloning our website and making a more manly version, like a titanium coil or like a black
Right. I was
coil.
gonna say I don't
or,
know if a lot of dudes would get the gold,
No.
but they would totally like the titanium
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
Like it would be because I love the coils. I just
Well, and it's better because then you can fold it and sit on top because a lot of planners
Oh, for
don't have
sure.
them and then they just flap.
yep.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
awesome.
Way cool.
Yeah, so Golden Coil, since that TikTok went live, we are now like, I mean, it's December. We haven't even hit our busy season. Our busy season comes post-Christmas, going into the new year, and we are running out of inventory left and right. Like this week, we ran out of coils, and I spent an entire day calling every single print shop manufacturer, China, India, Mexico. Like, can anybody get us gold coils? But turns out our gold coils are actually very rare, and they were on some boat coming from some country, and then like we talked to like the United States based manufacturer for these coils, and they're like, we don't even have the materials to make the coils. We're gonna have to order the materials, make the coils, then send them to you. And everyone was telling us the next time you're gonna have coils is gonna be mid-January, and we were like crying inside, like,
so tough
but
with the
there goes
holidays,
our
huh?
entire busy season. And so anyways, by a miracle, this random boat that had our coils on it
Of course.
landed
Of
and
course.
our coils arrived in warehouse yesterday. So
Holy crap.
but that doesn't mean I didn't also order airship of this like I went onto Alibaba and I was like, I just need coils. And of course, like if they weren't top notch, we wouldn't send them out in our planners, because like quality is like 100% our thing. But I like went onto Alibaba and I found this girl named Bella Lynn, and her company sells gold coils, and she's like, I will start manufacturing them right now. And she sent me a picture 30 minutes later, and there's a coil manufactured, and I'm like, all right, we need thousands, get going, my friend. And they shipped this morning, so we will have more coils coming in from China.
No way.
But we might not need them, and also we need to just like look at quality and make sure that they're what we want to do, and we'll see what happens. But anyways,
So mom, wife, stop motion, this,
Kids camp.
kids
Camp.
can't. I mean, holy crap. And I imagine, like, I feel like you're most excited right now about this, about Golden Coil.
yeah, well,
There was a little bit more, like, you're into it right now. But I'm sure it's because it's holiday season and there's just so
You
much
have a little
going on
recency
with,
bias.
yeah.
Gosh, you got a freaking official term for everything. It's amazing. Recency bias? I got to get a life coach.
You do need a life.
This guy, he's so damn
Cam,
smart.
Andrew will be your life coach.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's a coach now. He is getting into coaching.
Perfect. See,
Recency,
you're good.
of course you had like, that was amazing. Every episode he has something like this. Recency bias.
Good to know.
That's
But
my
yeah,
whole life, recency bias.
yeah, Q4 is crazy though. This is when all clients need their stop motion stuff pre-Christmas and pre-Black
Right.
Friday, and then it's also the time where Golden Coil just goes like from 0 to 60.
Right.
Like everything just picks up really
So
fast.
you coming on,
And-
that like means even more now.
It
No,
should.
she's like swamped right now.
I
Listen,
am swamped.
We were talking when you took
like
your restroom
I have
break.
print samples in my car right now that I'm running to a printer in
Oh my gosh.
in Linden, because we are running out of covers, and I need covers because our current inventory was supposed to last us till March. Our current inventory might not last us 2 more weeks.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Oh
But also, so when we placed our inventory way far in advance, we had to place this year's inventory order in March. And I don't know if you remember March, global pandemic. We didn't know if
F
people were going
March.
to be, we didn't know if people were going to be buying planners. So we made an incredibly conservative inventory purchase.
Right.
And we were like, we might sell out, but we also might not sell anything. Like, we don't know, and we don't financially have the ability to just be like, bazillion planners, get them produced. So we made a very conservative inventory purchase, and we felt like that was the best thing to do at the time. And now we're just like, dang it, we should have tripled that order. But it's all good.
Well, we appreciate you coming on.
And we're
This-
still going to send
Thank you.
everybody to get a planner at Golden Coil,
Yeah, Golden
kid
Coil.
camps for your Christmas presents,
There's a lot of good stuff.
businesses that need some stop motion.
This will be perfect timing. Like, is there still people? I have a feeling that people will be done Christmas shopping, but now they're going to buy a few more things.
Well, New Year's shopping. This is your New Year's purchase to yourself.
totally right. This is like a full blown resolution thing
Yeah.
right here.
Figure.
I hate New Year's because nobody eats barbecue for the first 3 weeks.
Really?
January is our worst month of the year by far.
That's hysterical. I never thought about that
Because
before.
people are saving money, so they're not eating out. They're trying to recoup some finances, but they all go to the gym for 3 weeks and they
then-
don't eat out.
And the gyms are like, yes,
Yeah.
finally.
Oh, yeah,
all these
for
new
sure.
signups.
But then, about the first week of
February, rocking
February,
and rolling
yeah,
again.
start people are giving up.
If you go out into your restaurant right now, there's a whole lot of dudes eating barbecue.
That's right.
They're getting
People are
ready.
giving up.
That's really funny.
Like, oh, you made a good effort. Welcome back.
Welcome. We No judgment here.
No.
Open arms. Welcome to Bam
No,
Yas.
hey, you need protein when you work out, so
Right.
it's good.
Trisha, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
What a story.